Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to I guess we could say, special edition of Dinner with the Doctor. Welcome in, everybody. Let's see. Oh, we've already got some folks in chat. Yes. Today is a special edition, though. We have the madness of Stephen Asante and some Gorlworld updates. But it's been a little bit slow in Gorlworld today, at least on the Chantel front. ALR did have some news to report, but I think you're familiar with a lot of that already. So let's see what's up with the chat already. Hey, already got Icy847. Pleasure to have you in. Oh, that might have been from earlier, actually. Peace, baby. Looking forward to it. Skinny Queen. Oh, hello. Hello, Sherry. Welcome in. Yes, I hope you are having a good evening yourself. Hello, Natsuki. Hope you're feeling well. Hope the twins are coming along nicely. Hey, Taliu, how are you? Alizu, hello. Rosalind, how are you doing tonight? Yes, Asante is nightmare fuel. Okay, I think we should probably just start off with the Stephen Asante subject. It's the title. It is, I guess, as interesting a story as I have to cover tonight. There's not any major news in Gorlworld, I think. Oh, hello, Rose, JM. Good evening. Yes, so I think that's the main show of the evening. So Stephen Asante. Anybody wants to check the description of the show? I already have the link to the documentary I am using to react to tonight. It's from Introvert Queen, a channel which I enjoy. I think Introvert Queen puts out a lot of good content. In fact, let me put the link to this particular video once more in the chat, just so everyone can have it. It's also in the description of the vid. Yeah, Stephen is somebody people love to hate. I'm not going to say anything yet. I want it to speak for itself. One thing I want to say, though, I like about this documentary is this one starts before he gets onto 600 Pound Life. And let me give everyone a little just quick background. So I don't, maybe for people who don't know who Stephen is, because it seems a lot of you do, but maybe not everyone does. Stephen Asante became well known, at least in my opinion, became well known after an appearance on My 600 Pound Life. He had a very unsuccessful appearance. He was not a likable person. I think that's the best way to put it. He's very he's rude, he's aggressive, he's actively unpleasant. And this, what we're going to watch is going to delve into the details. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much now because we're going to get into that in a moment. But just as some background, he's a pretty unpleasant guy. Yes, obviously he was very, very heavy at that point. And he had some other issues, but I don't want to spoil them. So yes, Stephen is the guy in the pictures there, a very unpleasant fellow. Who's to say exactly what's made him the way he is, but let's just watch it. Because people who only know him from the 600 Pound Life show really missed out on what made Stephen into the person he was at that point. By that point, he was already pretty lost. But that's why I think it's going to be really interesting to get a look at him before he got to that point. Oh, Foodie is live right now? Okay. Well, then we will be back with Stephen later. Everybody. Sorry, folks, if you're here for Stephen, he'll still be here. He's not going anywhere. All right. Let's go see Foodie. All right, Skinny. Let me blow her up. Okay, give me just a second here. Did she know I was going live? She must have known. She's like, I'm not going to let that. See, remember every time she says, what would happen if we boycotted her? This is what would happen. If we started doing shows about other people, if we boycotted her, started running programs about interesting characters like Stephen Asante, then Foodie would just go on a never-ending content stream until we paid more attention to her. So, okay, you know what? I actually have something Perfectly planned for this. Hold on. Here we go. Much better, right? Now onto the subject. All right. All right, folks. So let me run the video. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what it says to say.
Hold on. I'm
I'm not hearing the volume. Let me try looking at this again.
raw Brussels sprouts
All right,
and
there we
onions
go.
and radishes with mustard and cottage cheese. Hey, man, I know the struggle. You try anything, you know. But
Darn
my
it. Okay, I think we got it working now.
diet food is going to be delivered tomorrow night. So tomorrow evening, we are going
thank
to
you,
do
Skinny.
like one last Eid kind of dinner feast. And then Friday morning, I'll start with the breakfast with my new plan. So I'm excited to get that going. Floss, you look
Very much skinny. Exactly what I was saying just a moment ago.
happy, not swollen. I'm full of love. I'm full of happiness. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat.
It's not too late.
Eid Mubarak. Yes. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Salah's favorite color, hi, babe, is black and red.
Ooh,
Did you watch
interesting
the
makeup
Lamp?
bag.
It's
Welcome in.
No. It's still full of smoke. My family's okay, for now, mashallah, but yeah, it's bad, eh? Hi, honey bun. Thank you.
And before I get into Foodies Live really quickly, let me just respond to anything. Is she laying down? I guess she's not sitting at her laptop box eating. Taliu says her face looks bloated. Sherry says, Foodie, you don't try anything. You give up even before you try. Just thinking about trying exhausts her. Okay, let's let it run a minute.
Do I have friends over there? Kinda, yeah. I mean, we do see people, so I guess you could say that. But like somebody I just go for coffee with or something, no. But there was a couple people who reached out from Kuwait, some nice women who watched me, and I was surprised, and they invited me out for coffee and things, so I might do that in the near future.
Now that is something I would really like to see. I would very much love to see that. Foodie, to have an interaction with viewers from Kuwait. Put your money where your food is, Foodie. Let's see if the Kuwaiti people are truly as hospitable as you claim. I don't doubt they are, but I'd like to see you show that, because I have no reason to think otherwise, but you're not showing us any evidence or documentation even of this. So yeah, show us some of this Kuwaiti hospitality firsthand so we can soak it in.
Lindsay, it's still fast. I don't know, even with a little bit of people. Radishes give you hamburger eyes. No, it's sleepy. I'm tired. Raw veggies and mustard. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on.
She has enablers.
Hi, Living Laura. Were you scared to start YouTube at first? No. I wasn't.
Okay. Are they trolls? 1,000%? All right, Maggie. I think this. By the way, welcome in, Maggie, if I didn't say already. And welcome into any lurkers. Welcome into anyone watching the replay. Thank you very much for coming in. Leave a comment if you're enjoying it. Or wait till you watch a little more of the show if there's anything good to comment on. And please leave a like if you're enjoying the content.
Scared. No, I never was. I was one of those people who was never scared to do like presentations in front of the class either. I don't know. Inshallah, you will soon require nursing level of care. I find that funny that you use inshallah, a sacred word for Muslims, to wish somebody ill. Good on you. Thanks for the super chat. And the flowers are so nice. Yeah, and look, I put them in the vase. I don't have a proper vase. I got to get one.
Why is she so zoomed in?
He did. This potato phase made my life, because honestly, you know, whenever you and your man have, or your other significant other have like these like little jokes and little things that you do together that are like cute.
You see me rolling, they hating, They're trolling, they're trying to catch me riding, Foodie.
Is it traditional to see a lamb get slaughtered? I don't know if it's about seeing them get slaughtered. It's not necessary, Bugs, but Eid al...
Thank you, Sherry. I didn't think it was for me, honestly. I just thought it was an odd coincidence, but that makes a lot more sense.
Adha is about, literally like translates to festival,
Welcome in, Yellow
feast
Moon.
of the sacrifice. So yeah, a lamb is usually, not a lamb, they're not babies. They're older, so I think it's like a sheep. Just like a sheep. They get slaughtered.
They're trying to catch me riding Scooty. They're trying to catch me riding Scooty. That's what it is. They gotta have Foodie singing it, riding in their little Scooty. They try to catch me riding Scooty. Flowers from the grave. Ooh, Elizu morbid. But, I mean, cheaper than from the gas station at least, right? And Skitty Queen reacts with a poignant comment. Perhaps Foodie is not looking big because of the angles. Perhaps she just is big. Welcome in again, Yellow Moon. Welcome in, Granny's Den. And she doesn't want people to know she's lying down. Interesting. That is a possibility. All right, let's let her roll for a second. Let's let her roll. No pun intended.
But it's for the feast. They get eaten, you know? Right, babe?
Yes, exactly.
Mimi!
When they kill the sheep, they give it for the poor people
Oh, okay.
as a donation.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching, I can't wait for one day to do the Hajj, but it's like a pilgrimage to Mecca. And millions of Muslims pilgrim there, and it's going to be a lot of walking, so I have to be in shape. But along the way, there's all these tents, and they give you food, they feed you. It's just so hospitable and spiritual from what I hear. There's a lot of vlogs on it. So, if I didn't have friends to hang out with, well, the thing is I do a lot with my husband. He's my friend. And also, you know, time to time we do things with friends and family and like, you know, go to events or whatever. But also I have my friends like, you know, I have a core like good friends. I have my mom, my Auntie Bay, and I talk to them when I need to talk, you know, on video or whatever. I'm not a very social person anyways these days, so. Hi, Rebecca. Stephanie, I know, right, Rebecca? That you mean that super chat? So ignorant, huh? April, hi. We have 4. And
Okay,
these people
folks.
will accuse me of just being
In response to
very
Maggie's comment,
frivolous and trivial and like not serious.
in response to Maggie's comment, I've created a poll. I think this one is pretty scientific. All right, let's keep it going. I'm going to
It's
read
about
through
the
some of these
religion.
comments now.
Please. And then make comments like that. Everyone's saying hi, babe.
Yeah, where is
Your thank you all for saying happy Eid for us.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
glad to hear that, guys.
Oh, and I will say happy Eid to any Muslim viewers I have in the audience. Anybody in there, if you're Muslim or you have a Muslim family, happy Eid to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Hi, Aurora. Cherry, will my mom visit? No, she said no.
Even Foodie, even if you're watching.
She can't do the plane. She's so afraid to even go to like Mexico when she went to Mexico. First class. I'm pricing my comic book collection. Nice. I hope you sell them for a good price. Hi, Golden Girl. You just finished dinner?
Okay.
Lulu's mom, I watched a video of back when you were heavier driving and eating. Yeah, I know. I've seen some videos too where I look like, I know it's covering some of my face, but no, it's, you know, I was bigger for sure. It's in honor of Ibrahim, yeah. And
Stop it, Mecca on your way to Everest. Oh, that's my next
be up
poll.
on them. Hi, Anastasia. Thank you, Aurora.
That's my, you know, I don't want to close this poll early, but just my next poll should be, what is more likely, Foodie to make the Hajj to Mecca or to make it to Everest Base Camp? Which of those is more likely? That's going to be the, somebody remind me to do that poll next, please, when this one closes.
Aurora, aha budget, happy Eid, 14 months Beezer.
That's
Thank
where the
you for
weight's
being
coming
a
on.
loyal Beezer. Ready, Sherry. Thank you, aha budget, because you don't even barely You don't even barely talk, but you support me always. I miss Aha.
Foodie does
Okay, so
pick
what I
up
have to
her,
snack on now, because I'm snacking a lot, is
butter.
some chunks of raw halloum or halloumi, you guys probably know it as.
Oh, welcome in, Peace
But-
Baby. Hello, Tiny Fairy.
Oh, thanks, Kick Rocks and Weight Loss. Hello,
Welcome in, Kitty Goddess.
EFGHIJKLMNOP.
Halloum.
Halloum. I like my halloum raw.
Why you guys call it halloumi?
I don't know. That's how everyone knows it. Halloumi.
Why the I?
I don't know. It's one of your favorite. Now, normally, thanks, Rebecca. So are you. Normally, we cook it. I put it in the air fryer or pan fry it or grill it. You can grill it.
Meaning now become a mod, okay?
Oh, okay.
I got your back. Nice.
Raw. It's squeaky. It's fresh.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you, Mute Dreams. Thank you all, guys.
Thank you. Hi, Liliana, Bulgaria.
She's enjoying that cheese. That portion does not look foodie sized. But I will say this. I was going to compliment, or not compliment, but at least observe. Good on Foodie for at least going one live without eating. But I guess it's just not going to happen, is it?
Where's Bulgaria?
In Europe.
Ah,
Hello.
I don't know anything.
She has gotten bigger.
Cherry. It is good, Bugs. My mom has a fear of flies.
Welcome in, QZ.
And,
Salah got the best love.
You're welcome in,
look at
Twinkle
Kina's
Toes.
comment. Hi, Chef Cece. Cheese will fill you up.
Yep,
That's a cute little puppy you got there.
I cook the halloumi sometimes.
The grilled halloumi, yes.
Tiffany, thank you. So are you, hon. Golden Girl vodka on it?
The sacrificed animal. I'm surprised there's even a bite left after Foodie gets at it. Now, in seriousness, I have heard that. So I, from my understanding, that is accurate. That they have that they give the sacrificed animal to the impoverished people. So it's not like it goes to waste. So I mean that's a good tradition in that sense. At least it sounds like it.
Really? And I'm eating a small packet of knockoff brand Doritos. Sweet and sour. I love the sweet and sour.
That's a fair point, Peace Baby. I think it's fair to have your opinion.
I feel bad. Everyone's doing diets.
And let me welcome everybody in as well. Twinkle Toes, QZ, and Peace Baby, if I didn't welcome you in properly. And also welcome to any lurkers, anybody watching the replay. Thank you for coming in. If you're enjoying the show, please hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content such as this, please click the subscribe button. Thank you.
Except for me. But I am going to be starting tomorrow. Friday morning.
Tomorrow is Thursday, baby.
No,
Wake
today
up.
is Thursday.
No, today is Wednesday.
Yes,
Just
yes,
now we
I get
entered
you, Tuesday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foodie is very ignorant about to be fair, she's pretty ignorant about Canada too, it sounds like. But she describes Kuwait as if there aren't any impoverished people there. Now, statistically, Kuwait is a very wealthy place, but those statistics do not account for the migrant situation they have. From my understanding, again, I'm not someone who lives there. I only can go from what I've read, from what I've heard. They have a serious migrant situation, a lot of economic migrants, migrant laborers, and those people are not included in those statistics. So they do have poverty, but it's not recorded so clearly because the people are not typically not recorded like citizens on the census. This is a very broad, very generic, unsophisticated explanation, but it's still a little bit better than what Foodie is saying, I think, as far as providing detail. So hopefully that it gives a little more explanation of the economy of Kuwait.
Wake up, please. Hello. Can you hear me?
So they're delivering the food tonight, like later Thursday night.
Thursday, yeah, we'll deliver, but you will eat it Friday.
Friday.
I love how he has the reminder, but you're not going to eat it till Friday. And she's like, all right.
Thanks for cooperating with us, and inshallah, we'll help you.
Well, I mean, I get your piece, baby. I feel like you're just just expressing interest from the way Chantel described it. You're. I think people should, be allowed to have
Yes.
an opinion. It's, it's
I do
respectful.
toots. Exactly, babe. Baberino.
Oh,
Who
thank
do
you,
you watch?
QZ. Oh, welcome in, Oranges.
I have so many pimples.
Yes, indeed.
I was
Kitty.
watching Hungry Fat Chicks vlog. I eat like Howie. No. So my diet, I know everyone's doing different things. I don't know what Amber Lynn's doing for her diet, mustards and veggies. I haven't tried that though. I love mustard.
Mustards and veggies sounds on. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than just eating vegetables with mustard, but that sounds like the most poorly planned fad diet I've heard since maybe the grapefruit diet. Just mustard and vegetables. That's not a complete. That's not a balanced diet. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not balanced. It's like having the apple cores and sawdust diet. It's just not gonna work.
Brooke. Thanks, cats. Yeah, Mimi, he got me some flowers. I can buy myself flowers, but my husband did it for me.
Ooh, Twinkle Toes. This, I think, is a very great insight. And this one I haven't really thought enough because I haven't thought of this yet myself. And I'm sad to say I have not. You're the first one here to mention this. Isn't this supposed to be a celebration with family and friends? Yet we see Chantal stuffing her face alone day after day after day. Yeah, this is supposed to be a celebration. At least she's got Salah with her. But from what I read, this is a multi-day celebration. So if she has something planned on the other days, that's good. And I'm not trying to shame if somebody has nowhere to go on the holidays. I'm not trying to. I don't want you to feel bad. So it's okay to I celebrate holidays as I celebrate them. But for Chantel to talk so greatly about the culture and how welcoming it is and how at home she feels and how they welcome her in like family. Family that welcomes one another doesn't have them sitting alone eating in an apartment by themselves. So it's a great question, Twinkle Toes, and I think you have every right to ask that. Welcome in, Cozy J. Yes, it's not a sane diet. It has to be from TikTok. It must be. Only TikTok can come up with such a silly diet.
And then Hungry Fat Chick is doing what? Oh, carnivore. What's ketovore? I don't even know. I wish her luck. I sleep in like mixed shifts, Aurora, like weird little naps of a couple hours at a time.
This is interesting.
You should keep singing.
Oh, she's not going to elaborate.
Black Silk.
I was hoping Chantel would elaborate on her sleeping, because not to even brag or anything, not to shame, brag, anything like that, but it's an interesting thing to one's sleeping patterns, because if you're not sleeping well, it's often a sign of something else that's not going right. And I will say this, weight loss or any health program requires sleep. Sleep is part of health. Anybody who's not sleeping adequately is not as healthy as they could be. I think that's a fair way to say it. So if Chantel is serious about weight loss, which she clearly isn't, but maybe somebody listening is, they can get benefit from this. Getting enough sleep. Make sure you get enough sleep. And if you're trying to get stronger, get more fit, get in shape, athletic, that as well requires more sleep. Being up all night, especially if it's up eating and drinking, carousing, that is not what's best for you. And this fear is so typical Amber Lynn. What Kitty got his throat. That's so Amber Lynn. The way that she the other day claimed that shake was healthy because it had a banana in it. It was a banana with ice, some oat milk, and oat milk is tasty, but from my understanding, it's just carbs and fat. There's not really much protein in there. So it's not really a. I mean, I guess, like I said, there's nutrients in there, but it's not healthy when you're so vastly overweight. Okay, back to Foodie.
Lillian! Hey, cutie pie, just showing up at Stella Love, not well. Oh, I'm sorry. Me too, I'm not well. I'll lay down after with you, just like you. I hope you feel better. I really do. Thanks for stopping in and saying hey. Carnivore. Yeah, do Salah goofy laugh. Okay, when he comes out, I'll get him to do it for you, Paris, New York. Oh, you want me to do it? I sound like Krusty. I can't do it. He's the best at it.
Oh, Camps. Welcome in, Camps. That's a that's a concerning thought. But didn't Chantel say a while ago that she had damaged, oh, I forgot the name for it now, the device they use for the sleeping device, the sleeping mask, the one that Natter allegedly broke. I can't remember it now, the name of it offhand. But the device that's used for the sleeping to help one breathe, that device was allegedly damaged or wasn't working well when she made her first trip down to Kuwait. So if it's not working properly, that could explain why she's not sleeping properly. Welcome in, Camps, and thank you for that suggestion there. I think that's a good thing to consider.
Oh,
another. No worry, Detective. Thank you for coming. And by the way, Detective, I don't know if I mentioned this to you or whoever else, but yeah, we had to. Actually, I'll tell this to everybody since this is a good time. I had to, even though the title of the show is The Madness of Stephen Asante, Chantel came on with a live not even 2 minutes after I started. So the Stephen Asante special is going to be postponed. I think I may end up doing a second episode one of these weeks because it's just, it feels like I'm getting backlogged almost on content at this point. So maybe it'll just mean a bonus episode. Who knows what'll happen. We'll figure it out though. That episode is still getting made. I can promise you that. No. Are you serious, Oranges? I'm almost struck dumb. Like, I don't even know what to say. I am letting it sink in. That's hard. I mean, in fairness, Foodie completely covers her body, and HFC wears those sleeves. You know, she's always got those arms showing. So, in fairness, it's possible. I'm so used to seeing Foodie covered that I forget how big maybe she is. And yeah, the diabetes also, like Sherry said, that could be issue with sleep. And somebody pointed out gallbladder. Chantel doesn't have a gallbladder. She eats massive amounts of fat. Like right now, this halloum cheese, it's not particularly fatty for cheese, but with the corn chips, that's plenty of grease. It's plenty of fat. And if somebody doesn't have a gallbladder, they have issues digesting fats. So it becomes, from my understanding, causes digestive issues. I'm not an expert. I don't have that problem, but that's what I've heard. So, yeah, really. That's just, imagine the mess she leaves. Okay, but yeah, Oranges, that is just wild. That's interesting to know, Peace Baby. If you're having a lot of dreams, could be an indication you aren't sleeping well. That is interesting. Makes sense, though, because when I sleep well, I tend to not dream.
Oh, are you from Ohio? Mimi. I don't know what he said, but I know the words.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Thanks.
Thank you.
Don't worry, the cat's sleeping somewhere elsewhere. Oh.
Yes, her CPAP device. I believe that was damaged at some point when she moved to Kuwait or when she traveled. I guess she's moved at this point. Either way, from my understanding, the device was damaged to an extent. And that could very well explain difficulty sleeping.
You're from Quebec, Louise? What was I saying?
God bless her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm no fan of candy, but I don't wish that kind of morbid obesity on anyone, just as a matter of principle. So I hope that she gets her diet. I hope she does well on her diet, just like I would hope for anyone to do well on their diet. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see what this poll says. Now we've got, I think, everybody one last chance to check in on the poll. I'm going to read a couple comments. One last chance, everybody. Oh, he replaced the hose. Okay, so I guess it wasn't that badly damaged. Okay, let's end the poll. Oh, thank you, Detective Cochise, with the alliterating the initialism. Is that the correct way to say that? Hey, you know what, QZ? I'm going to make an accountability confession. I gained a few pounds the last couple weeks. I've been eating some cashew butters. I ate that bag of marshmallows, but it's back on track after this. The next couple days may be a little bit tough, but I'm getting back on it. I respect QZ for admitting that. It takes courage to admit it. It really does, because anybody can lie and BS, and people aren't going to catch you unless they're not. Because when it comes to things like dieting, you have to watch somebody for a long time to know if they're BSing. Okay, so the results of the poll. What % chance are Foodie's new friends actually trolls? I should have put the word actually in there. At the bottom, with a big 3% of 29 votes, so about what, one person voted for that 20% chance they're trolls. 13% voted 95% chance they're trolls. 17% believe there's a 99% chance they're trolls. And 65% of people enjoyed the humor of the mathematically impossible 1,000% chance. All right, let's get back to Foodie.
Thanks, Stephanie. Fall Bears on vacation. No, I saw them the other day. So,
Interesting.
I think I would die on carnivore, like just seeing what they eat. Oh my gosh, just like, and I'm not downing anybody.
Oh, I believe that, Oranges. I believe Foodie weighs a lot. I believe she may weigh even more than that. I just didn't realize HFC was down to that low. I thought HFC was maybe over 5. I wasn't aware that HFC I just always assumed HFC was much bigger. For whatever reason, maybe because she doesn't dress as flatteringly for her size. So I always assumed that she was even bigger. That's what that was the error in my logic. But that's still wild to think about.
For their food choices, but I don't know how people find eating nothing but red meat, or mostly red meat with slathered in butter,
all right.
is healthy for your artery.
Hold on, Foodie. I'm going to say something right now. If Foodie wants to criticize red meat slathered in butter, first of all, I don't think red meat slathered in butter is the best choice either. But butter by itself is not bad. Red meat by itself is quite healthy. I think beef is very healthy. Apologies to vegans, but I think it's pretty healthy in general. That's not to say that you can't have too much of it. You certainly can. But that's like most things. But for Chantel to criticize anybody's food choices, if those choices, if they are even anything edible, they're probably better than Chantel's food choices. So I don't see how she can criticize anything anybody else is eating.
No, this food is not healthy either, okay? I'm kicking it once I start my diet. But things work differently for...
But I know that for Chantel, she's very all or nothing. But truthfully, she doesn't have to stop eating a little bit of cheese. There's no reason she can't have some halloumi cheese. There's no reason she can't have a small bag of corn chips. So there's nothing that she's eating right at this moment that she has to stop eating. It's just that she has to start eating in a healthy way, in a reasonable way.
For everybody, but for me personally, I'm hoping that
Okay.
to do these pre-made meals that are meant to be balanced, like a bit of everything. And then I want to transition after the next month maybe to Weight Watchers style.
Okay, that is interesting to me. That is very interesting to me. I did not think Foodie had any kind of real plan for this diet. I thought she was just making it up as she went along. That she actually has thought a full month in advance, assuming, again, that giving her the benefit of the doubt with this one, which I really shouldn't. But if she's actually thought a full month in advance, I'm surprised. But I do think that's a good thing if it's true. If she's just saying that as a way to make herself sound like she's thought about it, when in fact she has not, well, good on her too. At least she's being better with her lies, right? If you're gonna lie, be good at it.
Sure. Yeah.
And Elizu, I have to ask, as somebody who I think I have a pretty good vocabulary, but I'm not familiar with that term. Acetes? Asites? I'm not even sure how you pronounce that. I'm assuming it's something like maybe like fluid retention in the abdomen, perhaps. Oh, HFC also must be shorter. Yeah, I would be surprised too, Rosalind.
I can't be cheating on my diet. It's expensive. I hope I do it.
Good for her. Better late than never.
That's a heart attack. Not just for me personally. I don't have a gallbladder, so.
Was that like a sexual thing, or was that like, did she want him to? Like, I have to ask. I'm just saying, I have to ask.
I would be like,
hello, Tangled Bliss.
I guess I just don't understand what the problem with eating vegetables is. Like, why are you not allowed vegetables? Or maybe you are? 14 year. Mashallah, mabruk. Congratulations, Kick Rocks. You're starting a diet tomorrow, Katie? Good luck.
Nothing wrong with a treat day.
Thanks, Aurora.
Oh, I love
I have
them
a goal,
too.
April. I want to travel soon.
That's a good point, Maggie. That's a very good point. And that's why, even though I don't really care for HFC, I'm still happy if she loses some weight, because I don't see that as, oh, I dislike somebody, so I don't want them to lose weight. I think that's kind of petty, personally. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I personally just see it kind of as a separate thing. Like, if Chantel loses weight, good for her, but it doesn't make her any better of a person. Just makes her better at, makes her a little bit healthier. Skinny's enjoying her baklava. Again, having some treats on occasion is essential. It's how we stop from binging. Healthy people, I shouldn't say healthy people, I should say people with a healthy food relationship tend to not binge. Part of not binging is being able to eat a variety of foods in moderation. So completely restricting certain foods can set you up for failure long term, because eventually you're going to have a bite of that food that you've restricted yourself from. And if that opens up the floodgates, then you were living in a fantasy the whole time. You need to prepare yourself for the real world that you're going to experience, which is going to include a lot of temptation, as frustrating as that is. I wish we could just stay away from the temptation, but just can't. Grant Camps knows I like Oreos too. They're the most unhealthy cookie. The other day I gave a whole little lecture about how they are the most unhealthy cookies, but they taste so darn good. All right, back to the show.
So I want to lose at least 50 pounds.
Good point.
I speak out, yes. It has to be a lifestyle change. You're seeing your...
Those are good points, by the way. The way she carries it, the shape. Because HFC has she carries a lot of fat in her arms, and she wears the sleeveless shirts. And the shape of her arms, they make her look... To me, she looks at maybe bigger than she is. I always just assumed she was bigger. But, it is what it is. But I think you folks are making good observations here, because those all make sense to me.
He doesn't use any products. He just puts water.
It happens.
Good luck, Golden Girl, for your IBS. Yeah, that's hard, eh? What to eat. But I want to start
Neither do I.
I think having these meals that are measured out and plan the calories and everything for me will give me a good head start for a month.
Darn
So
right.
you have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, like main portions. Then you have 2 salads and a dessert. That'll be
Chantel is on the seafood diet. She seafoods, she eats it. Seriously, Chantel is on what I call an obesity diet. It's just simply a diet that would either cause one to become obese or to maintain obesity. And that's what Chantel is going on. Anybody who eats like Chantel is going to get obese or morbidly obese after a while. It's just not possible to eat like that for any length of time without experiencing some problems. Maybe one big giant meal like that, but most people couldn't even consume one giant meal like she has.
plenty. It should be. I mean, that's a normal way of eating, right? Mm-hmm. Thanks, honey bun.
Right.
So I'm
I
gonna
have to agree,
really,
Cozy.
and then you get to talk with the nutritionists and stuff. So I think that will be a bit of support also. Oh, I don't like these things. Oh, yeah, okay. Thanks, babe. You're the best.
Don't mention it.
And then the Weight Watchers I find is, like my mom did Weight Watchers and she was able to keep off the weight. Like
Okay.
instead of doing something really drastic. For me, especially if you have like problems with food, I think that like even any time I went to an actual dietitian, they would tell me not to like, even the eating disorder clinic would tell me not to like do something too drastic, because it can
advice.
trigger like binges and stuff. But I never learned. My brain is in this forever cycle of binge restrict. That's why,
Okay. I think this is actually a really important revelation, or maybe not a revelation, but a great insight that Chantel is sharing with us. And she goes all or nothing. The 40-day water fast recently. She talked about going down to an 1,100 calorie diet. Just all kinds of absolute extreme stuff, and it's really it's setting herself up for failure. Thankfully, she recognizes it. Unfortunately, she continues to do it, which some people would define as a type of insanity.
Are you going in the room, babe?
No, I'm coming.
Okay, good. Canadian fires are causing a lot of issues all around in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Lisa.
know it's bad. I hope everyone stays safe.
Wow, you folks
Yeah,
are
I
chatting
have a
up a
goal,
storm.
but Wegovy or Ozempic again? I'll see. Maybe I'll need it. I don't know. Hi, Louise.
Respect.
Thank you, Lay Ibubak. Thank you, Lavender. Yeah, some veggies irritate people's digestive system as well
She
because
is
we can't
close.
digest cellulose, right? So,
Too close.
Kick rocks. Thank you. Finally found the love of your life, and that should motivate you to get healthy.
Susie Q, I apologize to you. And I even have a link in my description. Foodie went live 2 minutes after I started, and I did say I was going to include a bonus Gorlworld section. Unfortunately, Foodie just is conspiring to prevent the Steven special. The Steven special is still happening, though. It's just, I'm going to work on figuring out a way to get you folks the content that I want to produce. So we will get that. I hopefully people want to see that because I want to make that.
Yeah, enjoy life with him better. Exactly, because he's active, so it makes it hard for me,
Inshallah.
Yeah. Mimi.
Because we happy.
Yeah, mate, we're happy, beautiful, if you feel. Coffee first. 10 months loyalty, Beezer. Thank you, Beezer. Eid
point.
Mubarak. Ready, some bees. Dieting sucks, Vera. Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Anyways, this is my diet right now, so who am I to judge anybody, Hungry Fat Chick seems to be doing well on her diet. She's happy, so.
Really, Susie
Good
Q?
for-
I have not been following super closely, but I did follow somewhat the week where Chantel was doing the diet service meals, and I predicted something like that, where she would eat the meals ahead of schedule, and then just eat something else in place of the meal that she had already eaten early, and just end up eating extra meals and have nothing positive to show for the program whatsoever. That's my concern. I'm also going to skip through some comments, folks. Sorry about that.
Good,
Getting behind the show. Let me actually speed it up.
If I had to eat only meat, I'd start missing, like everything. Hi, Angela. I have cheese. My cat's name is Julia. You love Julia, babe?
Great way to do it. Great way,
Keaton's, of
Camps.
course.
Welcome in,
Bacon
Terrellyn.
cheeseburger, yum.
Welcome in, Yellow Moon.
Remember?
And my apologies if
Only-
I missed anyone who's come in. I'm having trouble keeping up with some of the comments. So welcome in, everyone. Anyone I've missed, anyone I've already said hello to, anyone in the chat, anyone lurking, and anyone watching the replay. You're all welcome here and glad to have you. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. If so, please click the like button. And if you want to see more content like this, please click subscribe as well.
Well, some people are vegetarians. Some people live this way healthy. I don't get it. That's the thing.
Thank you, Mirella. Happy to eat you guys.
Thank you. It's halloum.
Thank you. Coffee first. Eid Mubarak.
Thank you. Weight loss doctors recommend keto. Lots of good veggies.
Nova's in the room
Yeah.
somewhere? I didn't see it. I didn't notice.
Yeah, veggies. Yeah, sure. Julia, it's Julia Rockford. Blumpy hair reveal.
Okay, Kitty. I think we're gonna figure something out for next week. So I do want to do the Steven episode.
Oh,
I got an idea for a poll.
So what's up, guys? Anything special? You want some chips?
Thank you. I'm full for now. Only.
You're full?
Yeah. I just ate sweets.
Yeah. Hi, Barbara. Scuba diving shisha pipe.
Yes, April. Usually the daily routine will be boring, kind of. So you have to create more activities in your life. Oh, guys.
Yeah.
Do something like useful. Learn something new.
That's why traveling will be good.
Exactly. Adventures. Discovering the countries. The
Yes.
histories, yeah.
So that's why I have a goal. It's easier said than done when you're like not starting the diet. Oh my gosh.
April said you're nice. You actually talk to the people in your chat.
Thanks, April.
Because too many streamers, they ignore the people in the
Yeah,
chat.
I don't get that.
Which is so greedy and so bad.
Yeah, Chantel would never do that. It's not just because right now she doesn't have that many people in the chat. And I'm going to say this also, out of defense to anybody who doesn't read the chat. Sometimes it's hard just to keep up with the chat. I do not have a large channel, and I can barely keep up with the chat. So just putting that out there for folks. It's not, that's all there is to it. I mean, I think some people do only read paid comments, but but I think that most people, it's just the chat is so large that they have no other choice.
And fine, Barbara de la Oz. Thank you.
I'm Jewel, I'm at Aries.
Julia sleeping in the hamster cage.
She does look like she's laying down.
Trolling. People are gonna run with that now.
Oh,
Howie. Howie, baby.
Fantastic, Yellow Moon.
An Eve Carol? There's none.
That is so great to hear. Over 5 years, that kind of a slow, long-term change to one's weight is such a healthy, positive way. It tends to be a long-term change, stays off, and it's a lot easier to maintain it because you've already been maintaining it for a while. See, that's why it sounds like you've found a good balance that works for you. You found the program that works. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. Be experimental. Find what works for you.
imagine like if some brain did make a video about this.
Yeah, they will.
Oh my god.
An Eid song is just the welcome.
Sure.
They are out of control. Wow.
Yeah.
Good point, Cozy.
For Eid Pray.
Hi, Solitaire.
Oh,
Ooh,
she has the
nice
open
shisha
chat
do.
tonight.
You make
Okay.
it better than I do.
Yeah, if you want to ask her, why not?
Thank you, Liliana. The gaming channel looks cool. Yeah, we're gonna get back to that. Just been busy because of Eid, but you're a Cancer, nice.
Okay, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to find a way to run an extra episode. Maybe not this weekend, but perhaps next weekend. And that way I can set aside one just for Steven. Because Chantel often goes live right around the time I do these shows. So there's like a 50% chance that Chantel ends up going live when I do my show, or she drops a vid right when I do my show. And I like to cover it if it's new. So I'm thinking I might want to run a weekend episode or something. So that way I don't run straight into another program that I like to cover.
Travonda, the fake Travonda, right?
Howdy all. Howdy all.
Howdy.
Glad you're
y'all.
enjoying it, Yellow Moon.
Travonda.
I wish The Sims had an online multiplayer.
Right? She needs the chips to give her to keep her from losing it, so that she can talk about the diet. It's like her security blanket.
Hey. Online GTA with the Beezers.
Yeah, there's online server.
Do you speak Arabic?
كيفك يا شنطة حبيبتي؟
كيفك شانتل حبيبتي؟
Yes.
تمام تمام وانت كيفك حبيبي؟
Wow, bravo! Clap for you. Clap. I will paint a star.
Yeah, I got you, Oranges.
Yay!
You are not grounded.
I think that's a great point, Oranges. I think you're right. I think Chantel uses the chat because to just have someone to talk to when she does a lot of her lives, because she doesn't have much else going on. So just talking to the chat and saying, hey, how are you folks doing? Just shooting the breeze with them gives her something to do. I don't think she does it because she cares. The people are interchangeable to her. She probably doesn't even remember them individually. She just knows that, hey, it's somebody here to say hi to.
Cutting the cheese. Hey, mistress! How are you? I like your blue hair.
Don't worry, Cozy, I don't.
Brooke, she cut cheese by her own from long time. Don't worry. And comb it.
Excellent, Yellow.
Do you know what cut the cheese means?
Halloumi. What did you say? Have you played or seen Night Security game?
No, me no. Thank you, Bindi. Living.
No.
That's a good question, Twinkle Toes. Let me
Living
look.
Laura, can you describe a bit of Eat to us? I'm gonna be. I'm putting together a vlog that should be out maybe tomorrow night. So yeah, that will be
It is
explaining all of that. But just briefly, Dave, do you want to?
515 people. She's got a big.
celebration, like, it's a religious
Well, in
celebration.
fairness, that's not a
religious holiday,
huge
and,
chat for her. I mean, but that compared to how many she used to get, but that's still a good turnout. That's not small, but she did used to get a much bigger turnout than that.
It's more about the pilgrimage, right, to Mecca?
Yeah.
We can look at some of the
And
comments.
celebrating a feast, and they sacrifice sheep.
In Australia, we don't even have plastic knives, forks, spoon. Wow.
And
It's called Hajj season.
Hajj season, yeah. So it's like pilgrimage to Mecca, in Saudi Arabia. It's the sacrifice that Abraham made with, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So.
Look what Blumpy said.
And I don't want to smoking shame, because I personally couldn't care less if Chantel smokes. It's not good for the cat, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty minor as far as my concerns. But my thing is this though: has she done one live where she's not smoking? Just out of curiosity, because I can't remember the last one she did.
Salah, when you get Chantal.
Do you folks like to see the chat, or do you like when I have the full screen?
Is that a game?
Yeah, I don't know about it.
Me neither.
Which one?
You mean on my profile pic or Sims? I created a Sim mermaid with blue hair.
Wow.
No way. Did you, mistress? Oh, I have to check that out.
Salah, check out the gameplay. It's so weird and creepy, but the visuals look old. Okay, Nina. What's it called?
That is just such a great insight, Yellow Moon. I wanted to talk a little bit about scales today, but I wanted to do that on the episode with Steven, because I don't want to interrupt this live to do that. But if it ends early, I will be talking about scales in an excerpt from my ebook. Or maybe I'll be talking about that another night too. We'll see. Oh, wow. She opened it. She has open chat with subscriber mode on, trying to get more people to sub. Okay. Chantel's always trying to run a little scam.
What did Mimi want us to play? I forget.
Security, what? Night security game. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big drop off.
I'll see. Happy Eid to both you and Salah. Thank you, Darkness. Shukran.
Thank you, guys.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you, Alt.
Oh, hi, Moon and Stars. Thank you so much, Shukran.
Alaikum salam. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll keep that in mind, Susie.
boondocking. Hi, Chantal. I usually watch and don't comment. I started my diet on May 21st. I've lost 18. Nice. What? So tell us your method. How are you losing weight?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yes. The airports
I've
I
noticed
see
that.
are crazy.
I've noticed that too, Sherry. I can't remember the last time Chantel has done a live without either the shisha or snacking. Without the shisha and snacking, actually. Think about it. I mean, maybe there was one where she only smoked, but I can't remember one where she didn't smoke, and maybe one where she didn't eat. It is what it is, but...
I don't want to travel right now. That's going to be something that's going to be... Actually, you know what? We could drive to Saudi Arabia, so I don't think we would take the plane, eh, babe? If we
I don't
were-
know,
if we
folks.
do
Would you
Hajj.
rather watch the Stephen Asante at this point? I feel
So
like
much
this,
better. It's like 3:30. Oh,
Would you folks rather watch the rest of this? Because we're an hour in right now. I think we can try to do the Stephen Asante show, at least do a big chunk of it, or we could do the rest of this Chantel thing. Let me see what people have to say in the chat. Because I could do either one. So it's up to you folks, what you would rather do. She replaced getting high with the shisha. Very much. Oh, and that's another great point, Elizu. Oh, thank you very much for stopping by, Cozy J. No problem. She should be concerned. It does raise the blood pressure. Absolutely. And Chantel already has breathing issues and all of that. All right, Elizu is a vote for going on to something else. That's one. If we get a few more, we will shift.
333
Hajj
here.
will be too many people, like millions, but for Umrah will be less.
Get rid of her. Okay.
Yeah.
3. Okay, let's do
We
it.
have to do Hajj
3
once
votes,
in our
that's enough.
lifetime,
Let's go to
If
Stephen.
not, we have to, like, if you can, do it once in your life. Yes.
Ah, okay.
All right, just a moment here. The madness of Stephen. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm all right too. I wanted to put her on just to see if there was something interesting, but there really wasn't. But it was still, I don't mind putting her in. It was worth checking at least. Okay, let's go on to Stephen. I guess on the episode I'll put a timestamp on it at the beginning to let people know that that they can skip ahead an hour to Stephen. Is he still married? I don't want to spoil it because it says this all during this what I'm going to review. So let's review it.
And since that time, there's been a slew of... The show My 600 Pound Life has been a mainstay in reality TV starting in 2012. And since that time, there's been a slew of participants, at least over 100 people.
Let me post the link also to this. This is in the all right.
Who've been on the show. Some had massive success, while others have continued to struggle. And out of all the participants, there is none more notorious, more infamous than Stephen Asante. And if you didn't know, you're about to know that Stephen is an enigma. There are so many layers to him. Who is the real Stephen? As much as his online antics have been absolutely insane, love him or hate him, just know that deep down at the heart of it is a real person with real struggles, and his story is a tragic one. It's a cautionary tale. And today, we're going to dig deep into his backstory, his life, his triumphs, and his struggles. And you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be sad. You're probably gonna laugh. This is going to be one hell of a ride. And we're about to take that journey together. This is the story of Stephen Asante.
One thing I really like about this documentary the Introvert Queen here has done is that it's very neutral. And I'm not saying you have to be neutral on Stephen. By all means, make up your opinion on Stephen. Everybody is absolutely entitled to have their opinion. I'm going to share mine with you. But I like that this is presented in a way that allows us to make the decision. That's what I like. I like it when these kind of documentaries don't try to prejudice us toward the beginning. I like when they allow us to make up our own mind. Because Stephen is not a likable guy. He doesn't need to be presented in a bad way. They can present him in the best possible way, and he's still probably going to come across unlikable. So I like that was done with this. Okay, let's keep going.
It's not what you think it's gonna be like, or nothing ever
He and I have a history together.
makes like. It's a slow dance in paradise. When the world's on fire, look for my eyes.
You can see his weight's fluctuated a lot over the years.
And I'd like to share with you my story.
That was back when he was young.
Justin Stephen Asante was born in Providence, Rhode Island in 1981. He grew up in a family of 4 with his mom, his dad, and his younger brother, Justin. Things seemingly appeared to be a happy household up until the time that their parents divorced, when Stephen was 11 and Justin was 5. This seemed to mark a pivotal point for the brothers.
Yeah, this is something that's going to come back later. Stephen did have a rough upbringing. Not trying to say whether or not that changes how you should feel about him, but I think it's worth pointing out. Oh, and Alizu, yes, that's the other reason why I need to bring this up. Anybody who's not aware, Stephen has an appearance on My 600-Pound Life. In fact, let me pull that up. Stephen has an appearance on My 600-Pound Life, which was inspirational. It actually motivated me to help get onto this weight loss track, to get away from being so obese myself. Oh, let me share this clip.
All right, ready? Let's
This
go
is
play
the
golf.
inspiration right here. This inspired me.
Oh my god.
All right, it's gonna be a little bumpy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It should be okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go up a little bit of a
Yeah.
curve here. I want you to get hurt.
Oh. Oh.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Let me get the other one. Let me get the original. Hold on.
I'm having a hard time moving
There we
around
go.
and doing this.
The leg.
So I have to be careful. But I really don't think this is a good idea.
All right, just hold on. All right, ready? Let's go play golf. All right, let's do this.
Oh my god.
All right, it's gonna be a little bumpy.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It should be okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go up a little bit of a
Yeah.
curve here. I want you to get hurt.
Oh. Oh.
Hold it.
Ah. Oh.
You all right?
Oh no. Oh god. No.
Oh man. Come on.
Oh no. God.
He milks
no.
this so badly.
No, I can't.
You can get up.
No,
Come
my
on.
whole body. I can't. No.
You okay?
No. My arms and everything. No, God.
My arms and everything.
Or you need
Ambulance.
you need an
Oh
ambulance?
God, yeah. Oh God. Ooh.
I can't believe this. I don't think he fell for real,
Oh God.
but I don't know. Because Steven has done this so many times. I'm not sure what to do right now. If
Oranges.
he's hurt and I ignore it, he can end up with an emergency. But if he's faking, then he'll get more pain meds like he wants. And I feel like either choice is the wrong one right now.
Oh, I gotta go. I gotta go. It hurts. Oh my God. Oh God.
Okay, that should give you some idea of what you're dealing with here. Just so you can get some idea of who this guy is. Yes, oranges, that's a good point here. And that's not actually the least, to be fair, this is something about the guy I don't find funny. He has a serious drug addiction. I made light of it with the artwork, but it's not funny, that part of it. And it's actually pretty pitiful. And I'll give a little spoiler alert. In this documentary, in my opinion, you can almost kind of see when the addiction kicks in. Because there was a period of time where he was obese, very, very obese, and he was kind of a jerk and he was manipulative. But he still had a bit of humanity to him. And then he just kind of lost it all. By the time he got 600-pound life, he was a complete addict, completely lost any humanity he once had. And I think that it's worth seeing him before then, not to feel sympathy for him even, just to see how people start. Nobody starts this way. So let's start this way with the show.
Because although it was decided that they would live with their mom, according to them, was barely at home, leaving them to themselves. She found a new boyfriend and she wanted to focus all of her attention on him. And from all accounts, the new boyfriend treated both Steven and Justin terribly. Now, somewhere between the ages of 12 and 16, more tragedy struck.
Okay, so that wasn't explained in too much detail, but apparently his mother kind of ran off on the family from the way they describe it. She wasn't in his life as a child, and he and his brother were apparently affected poorly by that. Who's to say to what extent that is currently affecting him? I'm sure it's had some effect, but at some point you can see that he's gotten worse over time. So I'm not going to say any more on that. And am I going to show the scene with the doctor listing up all his prescriptions? I don't actually think they include that in this one. This one is more about his time before that. But if people like this, there's actually a second part where they will list that off. So if people enjoy this, we could do the second part. I'd be willing to do that. Yes, the urine throwing was particularly disgusting. And that really made me dislike him a lot. So that's why I like that this one portrays him or presents his life before then, because a lot of us only know him from that point forward. And if that was the first thing you ever saw of him, it's pretty easy to hate the guy. Even if you've seen more, it's still easy to hate the guy. But at least this humanizes him a little bit. So that's why I like this documentary here. We can see, if you're going to hate him for who he is, right?
My mom was a really nice woman. I promise that she would never leave. Tragedy struck. My grandfather had died in 1998, and she had breast cancer, which eliminated a majority of her mind. My mom has forgotten a lot from her past, and now she has bipolar.
During his adolescence, not only was he dealing with a difficult family life, but he was also coping with it by overeating. And he gained a massive amount of weight during these years, which was a symptom of a bigger issue going on with his mental health and his coping skills.
Yes,
and you are going to learn in this video a huge pattern. And one of Steven's biggest patterns is his love of pizza. It's basically an obsession. And you're going to see just how entwined Steven and pizza are interweaved into his life story. It's actually shocking. And it was around this time with all this turmoil that I really think that his obsession and his love for pizza began. As Steven...
I mean, this whole thing, this is the one part of this documentary that I don't know. I think this is a bit silly. Is there anybody that size who doesn't have an obsession with fattening foods? Right? I mean, is there anybody that big who doesn't have an obsession with... don't blame the pizza. Because I love pizza, and I'm not that big. I think most of us love pizza, and some of us are big. But I don't think it's the fault of the pizza. So, and I maybe she's not blaming the pizza either, but it just feels like she's blaming. I love pizza. I want to stick up for pizza. So I'm going to...
Stephen was beginning to develop this lifelong,
Steve is the problem. Pizza is not the problem.
unhealthy habit of overeating and really unhealthy coping skills. He was also having a tough time in school. And according to him, he was bullied and teased. He hated going out.
That's someone who I've watched a little bit, and it just seems like a very sad situation. The alcoholism looks very depressing. And I guess maybe I should try watching a little bit. Maybe it's also maybe just seeing it from the outside. I'm only seeing the worst parts of it. There might be some, because I enjoy things like Chantel, and just looking at it from the outside, it's pretty miserable. But there's funny times too. So maybe she's humorous as well. I probably should watch into her a little bit, see what's up. So you know what, Sherry, I'm gonna with an open mind, I'm gonna take a look at some of her content, see if maybe there's some fun to be had there, because sometimes people can be very interesting and be fun despite themselves. No problem, Sherry. Yeah, and I love pizza 2 oranges. Okay. I knew there were a few people here in agreement.
Hated being seen. And the bullying got so bad that he decided to drop out of high school during his senior year.
So he was heavily bullied. He was not socially popular. I've got a feeling that Stephen is somebody who you can see that he is a bully, and that is classic of somebody who themselves was bullied. He learned that behavior likely from other bullies. In fact, it's probably a cycle of bullying. He probably went to school, he probably picked on people, and then they picked on him back, and then it just kept going back and forth until finally it got even so bad for him that he just couldn't take it anymore. And that's oftentimes how it goes. It's very, very sad to see. It's cyclical, this kind of stuff. It goes on and on.
I used to get picked on in real life every single day. Okay? Another reason why I quit school senior year. Okay.
But we have to say, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And not to say that anybody deserves to be bullied. That's not what I'm saying. But Stephen is clearly a very abrasive person at this point. If he was this abrasive when he was younger, I could see him not getting along with people. And was that construed as bullying on his behalf, that they simply did not care for his personality? Or was he a different person back then? Who's to say? So there's a lot of this history, I think, that we would need to have before we can truly assess the root cause of what's made him into the monster that he is. I'm glad you had your little walk, Skinny Queen. No problem. Hopefully, Luna had her little walk. Excuse me, your walk with Luna. You didn't get your walk. Luna got her walk with. I guess Luna takes you along, right? It's her choice. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, though. Yeah, let's keep it going here.
Okay. I couldn't take the torment.
So what is a young 17 or 18-year-old kid that's addicted to food with horrible coping mechanisms and able to drop out of school and live at home where his parent doesn't provide any type of boundaries, no job or responsibilities that he has to hold in order to stay at the house? Guess what happened? He ended up at this age weighing over 350 pounds at the age of 17 years old with no job, no school, no...
Let me just respond to some of these comments here also. I'm seeing these now. Oh, welcome in, Who's Your Mama? And welcome into anybody I've missed who's come in. My apologies to anyone. Welcome into any lurkers. Thank you for coming in, everyone. And that is sad to hear about the alcohol eating holes in her stomach. I've had a very minor ulcer, and it was quite painful, so I can imagine the pain that she was dealing with. Also, I should add, I did know somebody who had a serious stomach gastric surgery like that for weight loss, and it ruptured. I didn't know him well. I think I've told this story even. But for anyone who hasn't heard it, he was a very heavy guy, and he was not a good candidate for surgery, apparently. And after the surgery, he ate so much that it ruptured his stomach, the area where they performed the surgery, and he almost died. And I think he has actually since passed. It's very sad. But, there's only so much you can do for some people. And Stephen is a good example of that.
Friends, addicted to food, obviously, especially pizza. Both Stephen and his dad have described Stephen's love for pizza as an addiction, and it was even once used as a bartering tool for Stephen's dad to get out of jail. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not even joking about this.
Yeah, listen to this.
One time my dad and I got an altercation. He hit me, and then I hit him, and I called the police. He got arrested, and he told me to drop the charges, and he would get me a large pizza if I did, and so I did.
There was one
There you
outlet
go.
that he started to love to use to express himself and feel connected to the outside world, and that was when he created his YouTube channel.
This part here is very important. Anybody who is not familiar with Steven prior to 600 Pound Life, this is where that Steven comes from. You could see that the online, he made this online presence for himself. And it eventually turned sour. And you can kind of see how he grew into the crazy personality he is today, because he received a lot of attention for that when he was younger, when he went online. A lot of negative reinforcement, I think, is a good way to refer to it.
YouTube is like my outlet right now. I can speak to all of you. I can do crazy shit to entertain you.
Now, in the beginning, he was not really well known. None of his videos really took off, but it was his way of talking to small groups of people who liked watching him, who were interested in what he had to say. They liked watching him goof off on the internet. His online footprint was pretty slim at this time, really much probably to the ages of like 17 to 25. But one thing is clear. Steven has never held a job. His dad let him and his brother stay in the house with zero expectations, zero rules.
So me and Justin just ate and did nothing for a number of years and gained even more.
Steven was basically able to do nothing but surf the internet, order pizzas, and even gain more weight during this time.
That is so sad. It's one thing to you know, if his father provided for him so that he could start a business, or so that he could perhaps work on a sport or something. I don't know, some kind of a competitive, an art or something, maybe become an actor. There are things that do take time to succeed at, that you don't just instantly become successful. But just sitting around and eating pizza all day is not one of them. So I can't really support that plan.
Or not, his story gets even more strange.
Apparently MFW was
At the age of 26,
wow.
Steven somehow managed to make an appearance on the Dr. Phil show. But not just one of those sit-down episodes where they talk to a live audience. No, Steven...
Wow, okay. This MFW sounds like someone I probably should be covering then, because she's actively in the middle of all of this. So this is not in her past. She is still dealing with all this stuff. I do need to look into her. Thank you for bringing her up, Sherry. And Oranges with a really great point here. I agree 100%. Oranges says, I understand his mental illness, addiction, and troubled family life, but it doesn't give him the right to be a POS to people, especially the ones that tried to help him, in my opinion. In my opinion as well, Oranges. I could totally understand Steven having a lot of issues. Obviously, he's had a troubled upbringing. His hyper morbid obesity and lack of mobility, his addiction. There's so much there. There's so much wrong with him, so much that he struggles with. But none of that excuses the sheer obnoxiousness and amount of rude behavior that he presents. So, agreed. Fully agreed. Well, what else is there to say on that? And this is also now, let me give a little more background, I guess, context. This is Steven in his first public appearance on the other Dr. Phil show. You might have heard of this one. It's not quite as popular. But there's another Dr. Phil show, apparently, and Steven was also on that one. And he was in what they called the Dr. Phil house. All right, I'm going to be serious. It was in the Dr. Phil house program they had. And it was kind of this stage thing where they threw people together who they knew would not get along. It was very much reality TV before reality TV was really a thing. And Steven was put into there under the pretense that he hated people of as he put it, skinny people, I think. But I suppose they meant people of a healthy weight. So, well, let's just see it here.
Take part in a Dr. Phil experimental several-part series, which brought together groups of people who hated other groups of people. For example, you had people who had problems with those who were LGBT, then there were supremacists that didn't like minorities, then you had skinny people that hated fat people, and you guessed it, they had an obese person who hated skinny people. And guess which one Steven was brought on to represent? Yeah, the fat person who hated skinny people. The problem is that Dr. Phil caught on almost immediately that Steven was conning them all. Steven wasn't there to talk about hate. He was there to talk about weight loss. And I think his whole goal was to get on the show and to have Dr. Phil help him lose weight.
So how are you doing?
I changed a lot being here. I'm eating less.
It's interesting that when I said, how are you doing, you started discussing your weight, when what you presumably came here for was the fact that you hated skinny people. You came in here and tried to run a con, tried to tell me what I want to hear. You refused to clean yourself.
When Dr. Phil said that I was a con.
And that's wild also. If they're going to reverse her surgery, that must be some really incredible, serious problems that she's dealing with, that they're going to do something that they're going to reverse such a major surgery, considering what she was originally dealing with, that this now is so severe that they would rather put her back at risk of gaining the weight. I mean, I'm assuming that's what would happen if they reverse the surgery, if they even can. I don't even know enough about that to provide too much. Oh, hello, Colleen with the K. Glad you can make it in. We're finally made it to Steven. We had an hour detour where Foodie put on a live, so we watched that. Then we kind of realized that nothing too exciting was going to pop up, so we went back to the original programming finally, which is going to be the first half of this Steven documentary, because I know we're not going to finish it now, because after we used the whole hour on Foodie. She probably needs a new liver as well. Exactly, Elise. That sounds really real. I've never even heard of that. Although I haven't looked into that much, but I've never heard of that. Interesting. Yeah, I could picture her being heavy, but I have only seen her afterward. At least she had success with the weight loss, though. At least it's not like some people, they get the surgery and then they don't even lose any weight or they gain the weight, and it's even worse. Yeah, drinking and smoking after that is definitely not healthy. Wow. Okay, let's get back to Steven here.
Honest. I respect his honesty.
Your behavior is lazy.
Yep.
If anybody pushes you on it, you become manipulative, belligerent, arrogant.
I shouldn't be that way, but I am.
Jeez.
You don't live like this the rest of your life?
I won't make it the rest of my life if I was like this. I will die.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Phil was known for giving people the resources and the team needed around them to tackle their disorders and to lose the weight. But what I do know for sure is that Dr. Phil gave Steven a chance, and he offered help with one stipulation.
I am willing to bring you the resources to get your weight under control and reclaim your life. We are going to put you on a program. Have you ever had anybody offer you what I'm offering you now?
Never.
Nor will you again. We're fighting for his life, Steve. Don't you let him screw this up.
I won't. I really appreciate it.
It's odd how Steven's dad looks a little bit like that Dr. Phil, doesn't he? I feel like they could be cousins. they both did that big mustache, bald head gene.
And if you jack with me, I will fire you in a heartbeat.
If I don't follow Dr. Phil's program, I'm digging my own hole.
He doesn't follow Dr. Phil's program. He doesn't watch every day at 4 p.m. He's not going to allow him to get the surgery. He has to watch every single episode.
And I'll probably
follow the program.
Now, I would love to know exactly what happened with the resources that Dr. Phil offered, but I can't find anything about it as far as what happened. So if Steven didn't take Dr. Phil's help seriously, Dr. Phil would pull the plug, and that's exactly what must have happened. One amazing opportunity at weight loss gone by the wayside. And after that, Steve.
Yes, so let's just keep this. Let's repeat that there for anyone who missed that. That Steven was offered apparently some type of a weight loss program. I'm not sure of the full details, but it was something. It was some kind of a program, and apparently he did not take advantage of that program, or he might have lost access to the program even. And if that happened, I've got a feeling it was through his own irresponsibility, his own poor decisions. Because Dr. Phil, if there's anything he loves ratings. And Steven is ratings gold. If Steven could lose weight, it would be ratings diamonds. So I'm sure Dr. Phil did not withdraw that assistance without. I'm sure he withdrew it with some reluctance. He certainly wanted to help Steven, if for no other reason than because it would be compelling television. I mean, people like, you can't look away from this guy. He's such a train wreck.
Steven went back home to live with his dad once again with no job, no expectations of him, and stipulations to stay in the home. And he continued to order pizza and gain weight.
And let me add something also. Colleen makes a great point here. Yes, he is a very manipulative person. And you can also kind of see when his manipulation goes into overdrive. You watched him during this Dr. Phil segment. He was manipulative. But he still had what I call a shred of humanity. I don't think the drugs were a problem at this point. He appears to be relatively sober. He was able to stay in the Dr. Phil house for a week or for however many days it was. If he was addicted to drugs, that would have become apparent to the people on the producers on the show. So it appears this was before he had the issue with drugs. The manipulation goes into overdrive at some point, and we can kind of watch, and maybe you could tell me when you think the drugs became a major problem for him. Let me pull this back up.
And here is where the story gets even more crazy.
It's infatuation. I smell like open ass times 30. I smell that shit, baby. Hold on, let me bend over. Hey, over there, watching my video. Do you think that I'm your type? I'm blue!
So yes, at this point, Steven was back.
He's very theatrical. That's something I think that's worth pointing out. He is a very theatrical person, which is interesting because he never mentioned being involved in theater or anything. But this guy is such a theater kid. He just doesn't realize it. Or maybe he does realize it.
Back at home in Rhode Island, and he went back to making more of his YouTube videos, but this time
I'm not saying he's good, though. I'm not saying he's good, by the way. I'm just saying he absolutely, clearly, he loves the attention. He would love to be on stage. If he had the stamina to get up and perform on stage, he would love it.
Would get even more and more outrageous. And you have to remember at this time, this was the beginning of YouTube. There was really nobody like him on the internet. And how, honestly, not even today is there anyone like him on the internet. But at the time, he decided to post a little video dancing to a popular song at the time by the Black Eyed Peas called My Humps.
Oh, it is the last season. Well, he's had a long career. He's had a good run.
And oh my gosh,
20
this
years?
video went viral. And it also caught the attention of a legendary YouTuber at the time who was called Angry Grandpa. Now, Angry Grandpa had a channel called The Angry Grandpa Show, and this channel had millions of followers and was featured on Dr. Drew and MTV's Pranked. So a lot of people knew
That is a good question, Sherry. I don't know if he's been formally diagnosed, but I believe he said as much that he does have bipolar, and I believe he said that he has something else as well, but I'm pretty sure he said that he's had bipolar, though I'd have to double check. But Steven is pretty clearly suffering from something beyond just being very theatrical.
And there was this particular video where Angry Grandpa was watching Steven gyrating and dancing, and Angry Grandpa, he got a kick out of it.
What the? You gotta be kidding me. What? That big fat motherfucker.
The way he says that.
And there ended up being a huge back and forth between them. And because Angry Grandpa was so well known, it really did help to elevate Steven's online presence and his notoriety and his profile. And it was shortly after that that outlets from across the globe flocked to see more of the myth, the man, and the legend, including German news outlets.
Michael Jackson.
He does a little bit to me too, Colleen, and it's almost the way that it's like he's always on camera. Even when he's not on camera, it's like he's always putting on a show. He's not just being himself. Like he's manipulating the situation. And when the drugs come into it, it gets so much worse. So much worse. And is that a coincidence? That allegedly Foodie, or she admits at least, she even says that she had a period of time where she was abusing drugs, and it appears that during that period and since, Foodie has been more manipulative. So I think that's something that occurs with drug use and drug abuse in particular.
Steven was doing and saying some weird things. Some were terrifying, some were just over the top, and I gotta say,
he is so over the top, like skinny, like Introvert Queen just said. You were so right about that. He is not that good at it, but he's persistent. He's very persistent. When he lacks in innovation, he makes up for it in persistence.
My personal favorite. While yes, a little disturbing, this is probably one of my favorite Steven performances. Now, I need to know in the comment section if you think I'm just deranged, if I'm disturbed, or if you guys get it too. Now, number one, I gotta say, you've gotta be somewhat of a jazz lover, otherwise you're gonna hate it. But I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my favorite Steven Asante performance. So here it goes.
You let other woman make a
Yeah, it is very sad.
you. Why don't you do right?
I'm actually going to skip through this part because she plays the entire song. And yes, Sherry, I cannot blame you. And before I went into this, I said that I like that this show presents Steven very fairly, but that doesn't mean that I have a neutral opinion on him. I just don't want to bias the audience. I want you folks to make up your own opinions, but I like this documentary because I feel like it gives people the ability to decide for themselves. And whatever decision you come to, if it seems like, if you come to it with good reasons, then it probably is correct with this type of thing. It's a matter of opinion after all. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, Sherry. Ooh, I wonder if his parents called him cutie too. I mean, most people's parents think their kid's cute, but hey, there's an exception to every rule, right?
Like some other man do.
This is so creepy. This is like something from a nightmare. This is like if I went to hell and they only had one television station, this is what would be on it. This is what hell's television. This is the only show they play. Is Steven singing this song. That's it. Here's a little more of it.
Why don't you do right? Like some other man.
Always
There you
dreamed of
go.
being famous. And to him, around the
Yes, Monkey Mac. This is he was the Joker before the Joker. If only, thank goodness he doesn't have the mobility to get out of his house and go on a rampage.
this time, he'd finally made it.
I made a my homes video,
Funkle Mommy.
and that just took me straight to the sky and beyond.
That's
I had
true,
no
Sherry.
idea what was going to happen. I'm very grateful.
I do have some pity for Steven because he's clearly had a rough upbringing, but doesn't mean that I like who he is. I could pity his past. I could pity him for his past while disliking him for who he is at the same time. I can do both. At least I can. I feel like those are not exclusive feelings. That I could feel both of those things at once. I could pity him and dislike him.
Now I keep getting off this television office.
Indeed.
It's all piecing together. I remember when I still had a mom. I used to pray every night. God,
They are there.
I'm not selfish. But I just want you to answer my prayer. I'm gonna be famous in some way. I want people to know me. He answered that prayer.
So who knows? At the time, he felt accepted, probably for the first time in his life. And I can't tell if it was just that he was really motivated to
Steven.
lose weight because his confidence was up and he was ready to improve his life.
Honestly, the more I think about it, Skinny, they actually would be a very entertaining couple together. And they would get views because Steven, one thing about Steven, he has a lot of ideas for content. Foodie is always starved for content. She's always looking for something to do to make a video. Steven is never at a loss for a crazy idea. The two of them would be really, really interesting. Somebody should hook the two of these people up, Steven and Foodie. They're not even that far apart in age, are they? And you know something? And he lives up in the north. He lives up in Massachusetts. She lives in Toronto. It's not too far away.
or if he used this as a means to just get more fame on television. But at this time, Steven decided that it was time to go beyond YouTube and back onto primetime TV. And his goal this time was the network ABC. Steven was at the top of his game. He had a newfound confidence. He was accepted by an online popular YouTube community with Angry Grandpa. And his next goal was buying a computer. A brand spanking new computer for the purpose of getting on another large, huge TV show platform at the time, Extreme Weight Loss. Now, the host at the time was Chris Powell, and Steven was desperate to get on the next.
As somebody who actually now goes on the internet, and I was always very shy. I never wanted to talk about weight loss surgery or health or any of that stuff. I just felt people didn't want to hear about it. I didn't feel like talking about it. But over time, I've realized that a lot of people, they can benefit from hearing about it. And I realized that I benefited from learning from others. And that's kind of where I changed my attitude about trying to share a little more. Because I feel that I benefit from learning. So if it helps me, it probably helps others. And I will say about Steven, he seems to not be too picky with the women. He had a online girlfriend who was maybe bigger than he was for a while. And to be fair, I was surprised he was into women at all. But whatever, you know, it's I mean, I don't know exactly what his thing is.
Season.
Can he even perform? I mean, as a guy, there's kind of, once you get over a certain weight, from my understanding, it creates issues.
Casting at the time for the next season, and Steven wanted Chris to choose him, to help him, and to transform his life.
Well, I purchased a new computer. It's great. Built-in web camera, laptop, Toshiba, 17.3 inches, something like that. Yeah, real cool.
That's the thing. I think Steven would go out with Foodie, but Foodie thinks she's too good for him. I mean, Steven might think Foodie's a little too old for him. I don't know, maybe not. I'm just joking around. I think that Steven would be all right with Foodie, but I think Foodie would be like, oh yeah, he's not. I think the real reason she wouldn't like Steven is because he would steal all the attention. He would steal the camera. Nobody would even notice her with him around. And that's what she would really hate about Steven, that she couldn't be the star with him around.
You know, it'll come in handy just in case, you know, if I get on, you know, one of those TV shows that'll help me lose weight, hopefully.
Thank you for sharing.
My target is Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition. Yeah, with Chris Powell, the trainer.
Now, I found this part really interesting because Steven mentioned specifically a guy whose story resonated with him.
I don't know how it works. I just hope that I get on the show because I really need it. I don't want to diet. That's the reality of it. I want to have a family. I want to have a girlfriend. I'd like to have a wife in the future. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be buried. There's no way of being buried. You're supposed to bury your parents, not yourself. At 29 years old, that's a tragedy. You know, I just want him to see these videos, and I want him to help me.
I can answer that.
And I do believe that
Colleen, Steven is actually a little bit more proactive than that. He does cameos. You can hire him to sing a song or do a little skit for a friend or something. If you want to get them a little happy birthday message, he sells those on Cameo. So he actually is using the internet as a form of business. But he does give you what you pay for. Unlike some internet people, if you send him money for a cameo, he actually will make the cameo, from my understanding. So I mean, I'm not saying that you should send him money. I'm just saying that it appears that he actually will perform a video if you pay him for one. That's all I'm saying. And well, you know what? Let's let the show get to it, because we still have a good 20 minutes left for tonight. So I think we'll be able to let the people there explain it. Tangle Bliss. Do you want me to spoil it? I can tell you if he did or he didn't. But the show's going to tell you pretty soon anyway. Let's see if the show lets you know.
Only one that could do that.
Now, Chris Powell was able to change this dude's life around, and his life story was eerily familiar to Steven's. We're talking, this guy loved pizza as well. This guy dropped out of high school in senior year. He also lived with his dad. He was a virgin. He didn't want to go anywhere. And he, at one point, totally transformed his life. And it was something that Steven aspired to do. Steven tried everything that he could to reach Chris. He even had a lot of his fans try to reach out and contact, but to no avail. No one ever contacted him. So even though Steven was never chosen to be a contestant on The Biggest Loser, believe it or not, I feel like that rejection had a positive impact on him because I think it made him even more determined, at least for a little while, to finally change his life for the better. Now, it wasn't long after that he ended up finding a boxing instructor, Tim Gillette, who offered Steven free classes.
This is great.
And the instructor wanted to dedicate his time to help him, free of cost. So once again, here's someone offering their services, wanting to reach out to really help him and change his life.
This is the best news that I ever wanted to give everybody. I don't want to act like a baby on camera, but I just...
This section is really... if you want to know about Steven as a person, this section tells you a lot about him. And this is before, in my opinion, before he got into the drugs heavily. I think this is right around when he started getting into the drugs. His eyes look a little bit sleepy. He looks a little bit goofy. But I don't think he was into the drugs heavily yet. He still appears to be relatively alert. And he was trying to get active. So just watch this segment, though. I think there's a lot to be learned here.
I want to speak real talk to all of you. This evening, I decided to go to MMA class. I know a lot of you don't know what MMA is. It's martial arts. I went there, and there was 15...
And watching this video of him throwing the punch, I wanted to make fun of him for throwing the punch so poorly, but then I honestly wondered, I wonder if his body weight makes it so that he can't throw a punch normally without tipping over. I actually question if that's possible. Is it just that he doesn't know how to throw a punch, or his balance is so poor because of his weight that he cannot throw a punch? I wonder which it is. But look at how terrible these punches are. And I'm no boxer, but I can tell you right now, these are. You're not going to knock out a fly with these.
What MMA is? It's martial arts. I went there, and there was 15 steps of stairs to climb. I climbed them. All. It took a little while. Personal care attendant brought me, and we got up those stairs.
Yeah,
I was really tired. I didn't realize how sick I was. Like, I knew I was sick, but I didn't realize I was sick. And I reached for the couch and I had to catch my breath. So I got up the stairs. Step 1. Step 2, I was calling out for a friend of mine who was there. And she calmed me down. She was rooting for me.
Notice that this story of him, what was this story about? The story literally just going up a staircase. He hasn't even started going up the stairs yet. He's already spent 10 minutes telling us about how he needed like 3 people to talk him into it, and how he's look how determined his face is. He's so proud of himself for this. And I'm not trying to say like there's anything bad about being proud of yourself. That's great. But just watch till the end though. Watch till the end. That's what I want you to do. Don't think that I'm making fun of him for climbing the stairs at his weight. That I respect for him doing that. But watch till the end.
Then I met a man named Tim Gillette. Sensei Tim Gillette. Okay. And I walked to his office. Mind you, this is a huge gym. I walked to his office. I sat on the couch. We had a discussion. And I can honestly say that I found somebody that is sincere, caring, and wants to help me voluntarily.
So it sounds like he's found this really incredible support system at this gym here. This sounds like a really amazing thing. It sounds like he's, the 15 steps are tough, but he's got people willing to help him get up those steps. He's got this Coach Gillette here who's going to help teach him how to fight. He's really got the tools here to succeed. It sounds like for the first time in his life. Also, people who believe in him. How could this end badly, right?
I don't have to pay him anything.
Doesn't have to pay him.
He doesn't want to see me die. And I know that a lot of people don't get this opportunity. And I just want to say that I'm a 700-pound guy. And I got off the couch. And I did something. And I know there's a lot of people out there like me, even bigger, who has lost hope. And I want to tell you that be me. I am your example.
That's the part. After all of this, he ends it by saying he wants to be an example to other people because he successfully did one day. Or I don't even think he completed one day. He wants to now be an example to other people who need to get healthy when he has not even completed a single day of a program.
Now, Steven was super proud of himself, as he should be. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's a huge step to do that. Being over 400 pounds at the time, walking up the stairs, going to the gym, where there's probably all the super fit people staring at you. It had to be intimidating. So, of course, he should give himself kudos. But the only problem that I have...
Yes. Introvert Queen and I are very much in agreement on here. Welcome in, Elegant Mind, first of all. And welcome in, Jarella. No problem. Glad to have you in. Is this new from Steven? This is actually an old video. This is actually from before he was well known on 600 Pound Life. That's why I'm showing this vid. This is a new video about Steven, but the videos it features are actually some from his history. It gives us an introduction to who he is as a person before he really went off the deep end. So, yeah, like Introvert Queen is saying, good for him. Making those steps, going to the MMA gym, good for him. He's already saying that now he's an example to other people. After going to the gym one time, he's now an example.
Had with it is that at the end, it sounded like he was giving a thank you speech after receiving an Academy Award.
I want to thank Tim Gillette. I want to thank Kaylee Medeiros. I want to thank Sandy for being there in the hallway, rooting me on. I want to thank Jay, even though I put you through hell. I want to thank Nelly. I want to thank Kelly for telling me to go to the school. The first step was going. And
it sounds like he's completed like a doctorate or something, doesn't it? He's thanking so many people. I mean, how many people even go to his gym? How many people even go to his gym?
I did. And I want to thank everybody. You know who you are.
Now, here's the worst part about all of this. This entire boxing story and the subsequent, thanking everyone like he had won an award. It was after this post on this day, this speech with him thanking everyone, that there would never be a post about this again. Never. So to me, I'm pretty sure that this was a one-time thing. It was a one day of motivation, one day of trying something. So once again, Steven failed to stick with his new support system.
He is so much like Foodie. He's already congratulating himself on his very first day of the gym. He hasn't even completed a workout. He's already congratulating himself and thanking everybody for all the help they've given him.
He went back to his old ways. And my only guess is that he went back to his comfort zone,
right?
In his room, ordering pizzas, and staying at home, closing the door, staying in his bedroom, and making videos online. All while continuing to live in his dad's home. And around this time, even though he wasn't focused on fitness, he did, for the first time, focus on another area of his life, which this time was all about love.
So anybody question about what's Steven's type? What kind of person? What kind of woman? What kind of man? Maybe. What floats Steven's boat? Let's find out. Now I should have inserted a picture of Foodie right here. That's what I should have done. Edited one in.
During this stage in Steven's life, he was around 27, 28 years old, and he'd even gained more weight. And probably for the first time, he was able to earn his own YouTube coin from probably YouTube and also TV appearances. And he was able to afford his own
oranges.
Moved out, and he lived on his own.
That's his dream date.
I got my own place, a beautiful apartment, and then I began making videos.
I have to agree with you, Maggie.
I made videos for a while.
It was also during this time that he started his first real...
I'm glad you like it, Colleen, with the K. I think this one is really good, too, because I've known about Steven, but this is all new information for me. I've heard of some of this, but I've never gotten this level of detail. And this shows who he is as a person. He's still unlikable, but it actually shows you a little bit about who he is. So I really think this is well done.
Serious relationship with his
Let me
girlfriend,
post another link
Lori.
to the channel.
Now, I'm sure you know by now, anything that has to do with Steven, it can't just be chill or normal. So, of course, their relationship was an absolute show. They met online while streaming, which also meant that they aired a lot of their dirty laundry on air as well.
Rewind. I met Lori via tinychat.com, which is a social media website where you can correspond with people via the webcam and instant messenger. It was almost in an instant that we had fallen in love, and it felt so real.
They were comfortable both being online and communicating online in front of a lot of people.
That's actually a good point.
There's the beast. No. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, Elegant Mind. I can only watch it so often. Some of the episodes are just too tragic, because especially when they have a very tragic backstory in particular, that it makes it so depressing. And yes, Tiny Chat, very, very ironic. Oh, is this his natter? His natter is still coming up. His natter is coming up. Actually, he never gets a natter. Steven deserves a natter, but I don't think he ever gets one. But he deserves a natter. Steven is kind of a natter in a way. He's just even less appealing somehow.
No. Yeah, so who is she to you again?
No, my ex now.
Your ex? Really? How much does she weigh in that picture?
I have no idea, but she's doing the right thing too, so I can't say that.
Let's slowly creep it into frame.
Now here's a picture of the ex.
You can see myself right there. Look.
That's Lori. So you can see that Steven is not, at least, size is not an issue for Steven, apparently.
Right there. Well, you guys can see a resemblance a little bit.
And then something weird happened, because it was also during this time that Steven was pissing off some of his neighbors. They apparently were appalled, they were bothered, they were irritated by his body odor.
This
which
is great.
They said they could
Watch this.
smell from their own apartment, which, if you think about it, I can't even imagine the smell.
And I come home and I go on the motherfucking elevator, and what do I see on my door? Tape on my door. You see that? Wash your ass. You telling me to wash my ass? Why didn't you sign your fucking name or something off your apartment number, bitch? But that's okay, because I reported it. You know, it is what it is, because I'm moving anyway. I'm moving. I'm out of here next month or the following month, but most likely next month. I'm moving out of state, so it is what it is.
Yeah, he's leaving next month. The smell will be gone a month after that.
Moving in with my girl, so it is what it is. Moving to fucking Illinois. I'm outie.
I understand opening up someone's door and getting a whiff of their smell, but the fact that you're in another room with your own closed door, there's 2 barriers, and you can still smell funk, that is insane. I can't even imagine. But you know what? Steven could care less, because he was on his way to his new lady love anyway.
Lori suddenly comes in the picture. Everything is Lori.
His love,
and
Lori.
We were 2 little lovebirds that made everybody sick. But we used to argue constantly. And it escalated, and it got worse. I didn't trust her.
Now, I really wish, and I hoped, and I researched, I was hoping to see footage of them together in Illinois, living together, because I feel like that would have been epic. But sorry, guys, I couldn't find anything.
Oh.
The best I could find was proof that he had traveled to live with her, because when they did finally break up, she told him never, ever come back to Illinois again. Ever.
I don't need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about, John. It's over. Okay? It's over. We don't need to have a conversation. We don't need to have a friendship. We don't need to be buddies. You don't need to come here. Please don't come to Illinois. Stay where you are and get help. Okay? And that's the end of the conversation. Bye.
Hey, what's up? My name is John, and
Okay, that's how the first was. Elegant Mind. Yes, that is the second one. That is the one that he eventually gets in a very serious relationship with, the blonde one. Yeah, it does sound a little bit like SJM. Hey, welcome in, Accidental Alien. Glad to have you. See, you're a bit surprised by what you're seeing here. This is Steven Asante, the specimen, the madness of Steven Asante. Yeah, he does seem pretty wild. Okay, let's keep going.
My ex-girlfriend Lori cheated on me of 9 months.
She cheated on him
with another man.
I don't want to be with you because you're out of control. You're abusive. You call me fat. Like there'll be 3 emails that'll be like I love you, and then there'll be 6 of them be like you're a fat and stuff like that. That's why I don't want to be with you.
Sounds
so we
like
know
a
that
wonderful
things eventually
guy.
fizzled out with Lori, and Steven basically started back at square one. He was living back at home with his father. Believe it or not,
They do. They look more like family than a couple. They look like they could be brother and sister. They even have the same shaped head, kind of. Don't they? Similar hairline? Similar head shape? Maybe they are related.
ordering pizza again and gaining more and more weight. And this time, little did he know that his next move would take him from having a little bit of internet fame to having internet infamy from a well-known doctor based in Texas.
That's an HOA rule I could probably be okay with. I think that's a fair rule.
Fate once again allowed Steven to be on the news, but this time it had nothing to do with his online antics. This time, it was strictly because of his weight. When Steven was 33 years old, he made an attempt to combat his eating addiction at Rhode Island Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island. By this time, Steven was no longer 250 pounds, he was no longer 350 pounds, not even 450 pounds. At this time, Steven weighed a whopping 778 pounds. And you have to remember, he had been at this hospital for a few months and had managed to lose 20 pounds, which means Steven was about 800 pounds when he finally decided to get help.
Yeah, no offensive smells, please. All smells must be politically correct. Thank you very much. Not new to Steven. I can believe you've seen him before. Oh wow, yeah. Steven actually helped inspire me to get off a lot of weight. I had gotten overweight myself, not anywhere near as bad as him, thank God. But seeing him fall out of that golf cart was, if that didn't make me get up and work out, nothing would, and it sure did. It sure did.
And anyone who's watched the show My 600 Pound Life, you guys know that when patients weigh this much, Dr. Now would consider it a huge failure for someone so large to lose 20 pounds in 1 month, let alone several. So it was obvious Steven was not sticking to the plan. And guess what the hospital caught him doing? Of course, ordering pizza. His vice, his addiction, his one true love. Now you guys have to admit that the title of an 800-pound man being kicked out of a hospital for ordering pizza is just a shocking concept. Well, at least at the time.
Actually, the more I think about it, that's such a broadly written thing. Offensive odors coming from the home. I mean, HOAs in general are a bunch of busybodies. So the rules always sound good on paper, but when they get enforced, it almost always ends up being very, very arbitrary and capricious.
And there were news outlets from all over the world that picked up the story, and media coverage ensued. Steven's dad, he had no idea what to do with Steven, because Steven had been kicked out, and he didn't want to bring him back home because he knew that would be the end for Steven. He needed professionals to help his son. Now, there was a social worker that
That's also worth pointing out. That's something that Introvert Queen didn't mention, though to be fair, she doesn't really have this knowledge. Nobody has this knowledge precisely about when Steven's addiction got bad. But it was sometime around here, maybe around when he was with that girl Lori, because when he was going to the gym, it looked like his addiction, maybe it had begun, but it did not appear to be a problem. Whereas by the time he made it into the hospital and he got kicked out of the hospital, he was clearly in the depths of addiction. And I guess there's also editing to consider, but it appears that the worst of his behaviors didn't get going until after the addiction got out of hand. And I'm not excusing his behavior at all. I'm just commenting on what I believe is a correlation in the timing.
to help get Steven the necessary help that he needed. And shortly after that, Steven posted a picture with his mom on social media, which thanked his supporters and stated, "Hopefully, in the near future, there will be a positive follow-up with my weight loss. I would like to thank my supporters as well on my Facebook page, and also to all the negative comments that give me thicker skin." Now, shortly after that, Steven got a call.
No, Steven, that's your lymphedema that's giving you thicker skin, or cellulitis that's giving you thicker skin. It's not the comments.
From Dr. Now's office, because with all the headlines in the news, producers from TLC thought Steven was a great candidate for the show My 600-Pound Life. And as you know, the rest is history. Now, we know how difficult Steven was during his time on the show. By that time, he was not only struggling with a food addiction, but he also had problems with prescriptions. Now, Dr. Now called it immediately when he said Steven would probably be one of the most difficult patients that he has had.
Steven Asante is being transported to my care in Houston right now, and I'm not sure what to expect. From what I understand, he suffers from severe psychological issues that make it problematic to treat him. So he's going to be a unique case. So it sounds like a perfect storm of dysfunction is coming, and we may be facing the hardest challenge yet, trying to help the Asantes.
Now, in Steven's lifetime, he has had amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for help. Not once, not twice, but now 3 times, with Dr. Now arguably being the best in the world in his field to help Steven exactly how Steven needed to be helped. And not only did Steven disregard Dr. Now's advice, but he also took the counseling sessions with Dr. Paradise as a joke. He didn't take it seriously. Through it all, Steven did lose enough weight to finally get the weight loss surgery, and he credited Dr. Now for saving his life.
The dude is highly intelligent.
That is a very, very good question, Peace Baby. I again, let me put up my disclaimer here. I'm not a doctor, so I just giving my personal opinion. That said, I think that is a possibility, but I think but what I've heard, I guess I should say this because I don't really know, but I've heard that some pain pills can give people cravings for foods like sugar, for unhealthy foods. It can give them cravings, and it can also lower their it can change their thinking so they're not as conscientious about what they eat. I've heard there's a lot of things, but I've heard it can affect some people to cause them to gain weight. Although there are some people it kills their appetite. So it seems to vary. Some people it seems to kill their appetite. Other people it seems to have an opposite effect almost, where it stimulates their appetite. So it just it seems to vary depending on the person. It doesn't seem to have a uniform effect. From what I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, he's the weight loss messiah, like Jesus of weight loss surgery. He is, and I'm not going to deny that. And he saved my life, even though my weight goes up and down. Without that surgery and without him saving my life and doing that surgery and removing a hernia too, I probably would have been long dead a long time ago.
But in the end, Steven ended up taking Dr. Now's help for granted. He didn't follow Dr. Now's advice, and he ended up gaining pretty much all of his weight back. Because by the end of the 3rd installment of Steven being on My 600
That's a great point, Tango Bliss. At Steven's size, I mean, look at that leg. You're going to tell me that leg doesn't hurt? I mean, there's no way that leg and this cellulitis here, there's no way that this can't be causing him pain. And I'm not saying that the answer is to load him up on dope, but he must be experiencing some pain, so they need to treat the cause of it. Just giving him drugs for pain is not the solution. But is he in pain? Probably. I don't see how he couldn't be in some kind of pain. Unless his nerves are completely dead to the point he can't even feel anything. But yeah, so Tango Bliss, I understand what you mean. I could certainly understand that he does have pain. So I think that it's appropriate that they address his pain, but he unfortunately has a very severe addiction as well. It's not just him complaining of pain. It's him. He's getting so intoxicated as well. He's clearly abusing the medications. But yeah, he probably does have pain.
His very last appearance, through it all, he gained it all back.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the positive aspect of this is that Steven did find the love of his life, Stephanie. They got married, and Stephanie seemed to be a good influence.
Here's the
on
blonde.
him. Although, in the very beginning stages of their relationship, there did appear to be some rocky patches. I mean, there was already mentions of a divorce. I think they had just gotten.
I have watched Shaun of Steel occasionally. I don't watch him regularly, but I have seen his channel. I think he's done a show about Steven.
married. And Steven
and this is the blonde, the one they just showed. They'll show her again in a second. The blonde is the one that some people were asking about, the girlfriend that he was known for being with, the one who was not heavy. She, now here's the troubling part. She's a mother. Does Steven seem like somebody you would want to have around children? Yeah. So that's, I mean, it's amazing that somebody could see past his flaws to find something likable about him. You know, amen to her. She must be a real saint in that sense. But for her to be a mother and to bring her kids around somebody who's clearly so unstable and such a poor role model, that I don't think is a good thing. And that is something that I have to criticize her for. It's her right to go out with who she wants, but to involve herself with someone like that when she has children, I can't. I don't think that's a
trying to make things work.
They're getting divorced, is it correct?
Is it? If things don't change, then absolutely, she said. We fight a lot on and off, but like I said, I'm mainly I'm the cause of it. She doesn't. I'm the one that starts everything. I mean, you know, I started stuff with nurses, obviously, before I make everybody angry. So that's just Steven's way.
Now, hopefully, Stephanie was going to be a great influence on him, and this next stage in his life would give him the motivation to finally turn his life around. But unfortunately...
You know, Colleen, I think that's... I can totally understand that, and I can totally relate. I always try to eat things that my family doesn't like if I'm got family members I'm staying with, because I don't want to tempt them unnecessarily. So it's always good to like different things so you don't tempt each other. Don't end up eating each other's foods.
Steven's story gets
and we only have about another 12 minutes on the clock here, so maybe about 15 more minutes. We're going to start winding it down after.
Even more dire from here. So after all of these years, Steven being on 3 episodes of My 600-Pound Life, being offered counseling and care by Dr. Now staff, and pretty much gaining all of his weight back, we were all hoping that things could still turn around and change for the better. And Steven kind of dropped off of social media for a while. Like, he would do occasional videos here and there, but for a while, things were pretty stagnant.
All right, here's going out to all the haters. Keep dipping if you want. If not, quiet! Shh! Hush your mouth. Silence when I spit it out. In your face. Open your mouth. Give you a taste. I'm sitting in gifts. I'm so jealous. I'm going to report them. I'm sitting on the toilet right now, and I'm crying.
You can see here's the Steven that we all know. This is him after 600-Pound Life. This is Steven, in my opinion, when he was completely off the deep end with the drugs. His mind is fried. And this is not to excuse him in any way. I want to make that clear. Not excusing him at all. And right here, the comment, he's on pills or heroin. He's clearly, did the Tooth Fairy do a drive-by? He's on pills or heroin, some dope, some drugs. Yes, his brain is just fried on the drugs. So he's acting like a psycho. He's acting like a crazy man. Now, we saw that even when he wasn't on the drugs, he acted kind of crazy. But you can tell that this is not the same person who was in the earlier videos, or at least is not acting like the same person.
Because people keep sending Steven gifts, and I'm going to report him. I'm going to try to get rid of him. I don't want him on TikTok anymore because he keeps making money, and I'm not making anything.
Yeah.
I can't take it. It's humiliating. How can this fat make more money than me in a day? Oh, I gotta aerate. Must be one of the haters. Get out! Out of my ear! Here, out of my ear! Hater, out! Out! Out!
But after a few years, Steven once again appeared online, and the public reaction to his appearance was shocking. Steven had a whole new look. It looked like he was still pretty...
Actually, I don't think maybe this wasn't answered, so let me make this explain for anyone who was not aware. The weight loss surgery. Apparently, he did get the weight loss surgery. However, it was not exactly successful, where he did lose weight, but he gained most of it back, and I think they go into some of the details, but I just wanted to explain that because I thought they were going to say that by now. But just so you know, that's why he has all the loose skin there, because he did get weight loss surgery and he did lose some weight. But a lot of it was also from just not eating because he was abusing drugs. But then again, he was abusing drugs and eating a lot before the weight loss surgery, so who's to say?
Cabby at the time pretty much either had gained weight or maintained it, but he had also lost almost all of his teeth.
You know, I do get a lot of support and I get a lot of hate all the time. Yes, I had the surgery. Yes, I've lost a considerable amount of weight. Yes, I failed the gastric sleeve surgery. Yes, I'm looking into other avenues of getting the next surgery called the gastric bypass, the revision. Yes, I have occasional body odor at times because of my size. Yes, I have no teeth. No, it's not from pain pills. It's from drinking too much pop. Yes, I'm a loser a majority of the time. Yes, I'm married and I love my wife and she loves me. Yes, I have a new family. Anything else you want to say? I don't care. Kick rocks and go f yourself.
At the time, he was pretty defensive.
One thing about Steven, love him or hate him, the guy's attitude is relentless. Like I'm sure that he has a breaking point, but it's not here yet. He is just so full of vinegar and anger for the whole world. And it just lends credence to him being bullied as a kid. That's clearly the anger that's been instilled into him, and he's just letting it back out, and he's continuing to let it back out. And again, not to excuse him, just saying that's what I see. And Skinny Queen reacts with a good comment here from her son. Said, "Don't let a bad day turn into a bad week and then a bad month." That's right. It's a great way to look at it. An elegant mind with the excellent point. Weight loss surgery is not a magic pill. There are risks involved. When I was around 300 pounds, I wanted it so bad, but I lost weight with hard work. Great point, elegant mind. Weight loss surgery is a great tool for some people, but it is, like you said, it's not a magic pill. It's a tool, and a tool requires a lot of work. And it's for some people, it's a good tool. For some people, it is not. And some people, they get the weight loss surgery and they not only get no benefit, but then they end up with complications and end up even worse than before the surgery. So it's something that should not be undertaken lightly.
About it. But it was more than likely because of the pills. And years later, Steven even admitted to such.
Well, I'm in Iowa. I lost my teeth. To be honest with you, I don't know if the from chewing the pain pills or I heard it to the grapevine from my doctor. It could have been from after surgery, like not taking your proper vitamins and not taking any vitamins at all. Because you know there's only one pill I care about, no vitamin. It's not a vitamin. So I didn't take my vitamins. That could have been why too, but I take the pain meds because I always chew them. Chew the pain meds, so it probably relaxed like my mouth and everything. I didn't even know the damn teeth fell out. I was like, what? One, two, three. Pizza crust,
are you
probably.
kidding?
I blame it on the what? Blame it on the pizza crust. Blame it on the pizza crust.
So in the year 2022, Steven provided an update on the status of his relationship with his wife, Stephanie. And he claimed that they were still together. But when he showed his apartment, he scanned the room and he admitted that he was living by himself. And that Stephanie wasn't living with him.
We live in different households, but we're still married. We are.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that they're still together, even though that's what he claims. Either he's just hoping to one day win her back and get things on track, because as we know, Stephanie, according to him, doesn't tolerate with Steven falling back on his old habits and his old ways, which is probably why she was keeping her distance. Or maybe she was just pacifying him and telling him, yeah, we're still together, to not get his hopes down and maybe for him to stay motivated, but knowing in the back of her mind that she's not going to get back together with him. But at this point, we don't know the answer to that. But
I don't know a ton about Stephanie. And like I said earlier, the fact that she had that she was a mother and allowed him around her kids and everything is crazy to me. But other than that, I mean, it seemed like she was about as good a woman as he would ever find. And I mean, and that other girl he had, the first one, I don't recall her name, Lauren or something. Whether she was a good woman or not, it seemed like Steven treated her pretty poorly. Seemed like he treated the Stephanie woman poorly. I don't understand what you'd think that he would be jumping at any opportunity to help himself, and having a good woman in his life would certainly be a step in the right direction. It seemed that Stephanie and him actually had some kind of a connection. I don't know what was going on with her in the beginning, but it seemed in the beginning they really did have a real relationship for a period of time. It really did seem like they did, but I don't understand it. Why it
What we
ended
do
up the way
know
it did.
is that
we got a special guest. Okay,
Stephen
one second.
Hi guys.
Welcome aboard, Skinny.
Thank you. So I was looking in the chat, everybody talking weight loss surgery, and I actually think that in some instances weight loss surgery can be harder. It affects your mentals, for one. It's like once you do that, once you commit to weight loss surgery, in most instances it cannot be reversed. Sometimes it can, but I think it's just I don't feel like it's a bad thing to have, but I feel like it can be very challenging for many, and that's why there's so much crossover addiction.
Okay. That makes sense. I think that does. Hopefully we got your volume balanced a little better. I was just adjusting it for a second there, if anybody heard anything weird. But yeah, I think you're right, though, that it does seem to, sometimes people just transfer it. They transfer their issues from food to something else, and the surgery may help in some ways, but it doesn't solve the underlying problems.
I think that's what actually happened in the case of MFW. Is this is my opinion, it's not a fact, but I think that her drinking probably got worse after she lost all her weight and had the surgery. I think that maybe she took up more of the drinking than the eating, and that happens so much. I actually know people in real life that happened to too as well. So
I know somebody too, actually. I didn't know them well, but I met somebody at a bar, a female who, and she told me about her friend who was there with her, who said that she had lost a bunch of weight and she was at the bar and she was drinking very heavily. So there you go. I mean, apparently she was there often. I mean, I didn't know her well, but and also let's just take one more second to repeat here. Elegant Mind, congratulations again. I want to highlight your comment here, saying how you were at one point around 300 pounds here, and successfully lost the weight, and that's just so great to hear, Elegant Mind. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Elegant Mind. And I do want to say, guys, that don't feel bad for struggles, because it's again, it's not a linear journey. And I seen QZ said they had a hot dog and chips. Don't beat yourself up for that, because it's just one meal. And like my son came in and said, because I was even feeling a little bad for having extra stuff today, I had an unplanned cheat day. I just made it a cheat day because I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make it a cheat day because...
Well, that's a real cheat day.
Yeah. But I was feeling a little bad, and he's like, don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or a bad month. And I'm like, you're so right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, but he was totally right. You just get right back on. You know what I find my most difficult days are but I can't go to the gym every day because it's not good for you. It's not good for your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
But I find my most challenging days are the days that I stay home from the gym.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Because I find myself, and I stay home from the gym twice a week.
Well, that's 2 days a week. So it's those 2 days are your 2 tough days. You might want to find something else to occupy some time that you normally would be at the gym, so that you don't that you have something to keep you busy. Maybe maybe read a book or play a game, or I don't know what you like to do, but whatever you would normally do in your gym time, give yourself something to do during that time, so that you're not so you'd have something else to keep yourself occupied with.
And it was a bad combination because I ordered that baklava last week when I was having a moment, and it came this week. So I'm like, oh gosh,
Hey,
that's
it
what
happens.
baklava happened to me today. That's
It
what
happens.
happened.
It happens. Hey, we're almost done with Steven. Let's let it keep running. We only got just a few
Absolutely.
minutes left. So I'm gonna get your opinion too on it, Skinny. Let's let it go. Let's let it run here for a second. Hear what he has to say.
Off the wagon. And it was his mom who hadn't heard from him for a really long time. Stephen wasn't responding to her texts or calls. So
Look
she
at that
called
leg. That leg, I'll tell you, that leg is it looks absolutely, it looks like elephantiasis almost. Doesn't it? I mean, if anybody here is familiar with elephantiasis, it's a parasitic infection that it makes the skin look like an elephant's. That's why it's called elephantiasis. It swells up very large and gets that rough skin look. And that's absolutely what that looks like to me.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it is, but
It might just be a bad case of lipedema or lymphedema.
it probably is. It just looks like elephantiasis. It probably isn't elephantiasis. Hyperkeratosis, Jarella says it's called. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the overgrowth of the skin. Very, very unpleasant looking and probably very unpleasant feeling, I would imagine.
911. And when paramedics got to his house, they found him basically the color gray. Now, they were able to resuscitate him, but it just shows how fragile of a state he was in. And not only that, but if you were truly married, as he claims that he is, don't you think that your wife, who no longer lives with you, by the way, would occasionally check?
Oh, Justin Wells. Welcome in, Justin. Or Jerry Wells, excuse me. How is Justin Asante now? I don't have an update on Justin, unfortunately. The only update I have on him is I believe he is still doing the business that he had mentioned with his father, but it doesn't seem to be much going on. The last update I heard was that he's pretty much holding steady. I'm not aware of any major changes in his situation or any changes in his relationship with Steven. But
I
I
remember Justin too. He didn't he lose some weight too, or Dr. Now wanted him to?
I believe he lost some, but he has not lost significant. I mean, I don't know how much weight he's lost, but he still looks heavy. Last picture I saw of him, so I'm not sure exactly. So that's unfortunately. I wish I had more to offer, Jerry, but that's the only update I have. The show, I did watch it before I reviewed it, and it only really discusses Steven. I doubt it is lipedema. That happens mostly to females and is not weight related. It is hormonal related. Interesting. I was not aware that it was not weight related. Lymphedema.
Jarella,
Yeah,
to
it could be
answer
that.
Jarella, because I just turned on I had to fire up my other computer. I actually walk Luna almost every day if the weather permits. So that's one thing. We just got back from a walk. I don't know if you were in here when I said, yeah, Luna won't let a day go by without that.
Yeah, Oranges, we're going to make you go down the Asante route. We only got a few more minutes.
I mean, that to me, I don't know, just solidifies my original theory that even though there was no public announcement, I wouldn't be surprised if they were either separated or not together anymore. Now, as much as the story has taken twists and turns, believe it or not, there's even more.
Here's an update on Steven, if not Justin.
In February 2023, online news articles stated that Steven had passed away.
It happened.
There was a lot of talk online about the news, and people were trying to get confirmation.
Is anybody even surprised by this headline, though?
If this information was true. And Steven's brother, Justin, decided to come online to discuss the truth and dispel any rumors. And here's what he stated. I need to address more of this stuff again. Messages, phone calls, and news articles, and the production company. Steven Asante did not pass away. He is alive and in his apartment. I have no direct contact with him, but my father does, and they talk every night. Hopefully this message will reach those making the news articles, phone calls, and messages.
Well, there you go. Justin informed us that Steven was alive. But the reason why I kind of acted like I didn't know was because when I first watched this, I thought it was true. I thought that message was correct. And I said to myself, well, I mean, I wasn't surprised. Would anybody have been surprised if that message was true? Skinny, would you have been surprised if that were true?
I wouldn't have been surprised But I also think there would have been more news about it, especially him being a 600-pound lifer.
That's fair.
Was it just one article that came out? Because I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing that. You know.
It was pretty much just, I believe it was a post on his social media and just an article or two.
Yeah, because if that would have happened, you know, everybody would have reported that, especially since he was one of the more infamous 600-pound lifers.
Mm-hmm. And he also has a name that's recognizable. It's not like his name is, Michael Smith. So you see Stephen Asante, you're like, oh, I know that guy.
Now, you might be wondering how a rumor like that could
Hey,
start.
Ruthie.
Was it some prankster or troll who wanted some online attention? But no, believe it or not, the rumor actually started, I think, under honorable pretenses. Basically, what happened was that Steven's known Instagram account posted 2 very cryptic posts, one shortly after the other. Now, the first was a picture of Steven, and the caption said, "Prayer, warriors. I feel like my journey is coming to an end soon. Prayers are welcomed. I am now dealing with fluid around my heart, which was found on an x-ray, which scares me, and I now have to live in fear every day, wondering how long I truly have to live. I love you all, even my haters. Goodbye for now." Now, I can see that being plausible because Steven, just a few months earlier, had talked about certain heart problems that he was having and medications that he was on. And because of his heart conditions, he wasn't even able to have or consume any type of caffeine. So that first post was posted on February 1st, 2023. And then, basically 2 weeks later, on February 16th, 2023, there was another post with Steven, again, with the same green shirt, but it seems like it's on a different day, posted, "Stephen Asante has passed away. Yesterday, his heart gave out. We ask that you please respect the privacy of his family." So with those 2 posts, one would reasonably understand why someone would think that this rumor was real. So was his account hacked? Did he really have a serious medical issue, but he was able to overcome it? I highly doubt that he was trolling. I truly do think that Steven is currently on some really hard times, because it seems like every time he makes an appearance, his deterioration of health, it looks worse and worse. Now, I thought last year he looked to be in poor health, but even now, at the time of this video, look at this. June, basically
upcoming
July
picture.
2023. This is Steven from just a few days ago. It is apparent that he is struggling, and his health looks worse than I have ever seen.
Hi, Cameo. It's
Wow.
Stephen Asante, because I
Wow.
was on a TV show you were familiarized with.
Like he's 70.
Called My 600-Pound Life.
Is he still?
Yeah.
Is he
Everybody
still?
talks
He
about
looks
me
like he's
pulling off the
using
golf cart,
drugs. Honestly.
Getting hurt or faking it.
The drugs are using him.
Eating pizza. Well, in honor of your birthday, Nicole, so am I. This is Stephen Asante from
Hi,
My
Ruthie.
600-Pound Life. And I hear you're turning 74 years old. That's great. Happy birthday. My mom is a huge fan. She's retired and finally out of the house. And we'll be traveling to New Orleans.
We need to get Dr. Phil to 400. If anybody hasn't subscribed,
Oh, I'm getting close. That's right.
please
you.
make sure you have.
And let me
And
thank
share
everyone
this
also.
out to your friends. Share this out to your friends.
Please do. Thank you, Skinny. And let me thank everyone here in the chat, anyone watching the replay, anyone who's enjoyed this show. If you'd like to see more of this, I know it's not over yet, we're ending soon, but if you leave a comment, if you've enjoyed it, you want to see more like this stuff, and hey, maybe we'll be at 400 by the time somebody watches this replay.
And it's apparent that he is struggling, and his health looks worse than I have ever seen. Ever. It's tragic, and it's sad to think that after all of the help, all of the years, all of the experts, all of the weight loss
Agreed,
advice,
Kitty.
the weight loss, the weight gains, the ups and downs, that it is now that he is in a worse situation than I think that he's ever been. At this point, Dr. Now's washed his hands of him. Dr. Phil's washed his hands of him. Possibly his wife, although not confirmed. Steven's in a really bad place. Now, I know that he's polarizing. He's done a lot of controversial things. I know
Welcome
a lot
in,
of people
Kiki.
despise him. But I personally think his life
Dr.
story
Phil,
is
did
so
you wash
sad.
your
It's
hands
so
of
tragic.
him?
And there was always
I do wash my hands, but I didn't wash my hands of Steven.
Okay.
Oh, maybe that's what came off in the drain. Maybe that's what it was. It was something that came off. Something came off my hands earlier. Maybe
that
it
he
was
turns his
Steven.
life around, and I personally, I'm rooting for him. But the deeper and deeper he gets into his problems without taking his psychiatric care and medical care seriously, the worse the situation is going to become. Now, Steven's backstory, his life, his triumphs, his struggles, are such a unique and tragic story. And I'm hoping, let's hope that he can turn his life around. I'm hoping that the next installment that we do on Steven will be a positive one of change and progress, and that he's turned a corner and tackled his demons. That's what I'm hoping for Steven Asante. And for now, if you still haven't had enough of Steven, you'll definitely want to watch my first ever deep dive, Learn.
Okay, yes. There's a second part to this, everyone. I'm going to tease it. I think people mostly enjoyed this, and people who are not
We
already...
should go over it together next week.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then. I would love to. I think Steve is an interesting character. I think that we can learn a lot what not to do from this guy. I just like mixing it up for the sake of diversity. You know, we always have, it's always girls' night here. I like covering some of the men.
I enjoyed the non-foodie content as well.
Right.
It's good to take a break from her, you know. I mean, I don't mind doing her, but it's good to do other things too.
And my name for Steven, I'm going to call him an honorary Gorl fella. That's what we're going to call. He's going to be a Gorl fella because he belongs in Gorlworld.
He definitely does. I mean, I said him and Chantel, they would be the power couple of Gorlworld, but then there would be a power struggle for attention.
Those two could not. They could not get along for long. I don't think. I mean, he is just. Oh, that would be great though. That would be great.
It would be epic. It'd be good television watching them.
Okay, everyone. Thank you, Skinny, for coming on up. Unfortunately, it's a little past my bedtime, but thank you, everyone, for coming on up. Thank you, everyone, for coming by tonight. I had a fantastic time. I think we had a fun. We watched Foodies live. Then we got to see this show about Steven Asante. Learn a little bit about the guy, and I think it was good too because it covered his history. It showed him as a human being before he became the mess that he's become, that everybody really dislikes. And yes, he was unlikable even back then, but he's become so unlikable that I think it was good to see that there was a time when he was still at a shred of humanity.
Yes.
Skinny, do you want to add something or?
Just that I really enjoyed, you know, the switch on content. It was fun to listen to you. And I just want to wish everybody in the chat a wonderful evening and have a great day.
Be blessed, everyone. I wanted to do that little bit of talk about scales and the ebook preview, but we're already running over and I'm getting a little bit tired. So we're just going to call it a night. But we will be doing, I think, we'll be doing the next week, some point, the other episode of Steven Asante. So good night, everyone. Be blessed, and I will see you all around. Thank you for coming by, Skinny.
Thank you. Thank you for having
everyone
me.
in the chat. And if you're watching at home, leave a comment. Or watching it on the replay if you're watching at home. Wherever you're watching. All right.
I'll be back tomorrow too, guys. I'll be
All right.
on tomorrow, so look for that.
See you tomorrow, Skinny.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.